All right, we're live on Facebook. We're live on Facebook. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? We're going to be going live on the app now. Special guest in the house, Matteo Gaudio. He's going to talk to us about pools and a lot of safety with electricity and stuff like that. So please stick around and enjoy the show. We're going to be going live on the app in a few minutes. And here we go.
Jay and Ralph podcast. Vibes and real conversation together. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
All right, welcome everybody to Jay and Ralph's house. That was a new intro that we had made. It sounded good. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'd like to thank everybody for all the support on the show. Please download the app, Jay and Ralph's House. It's for Androids and iPhones. I want to thank everybody that came out to the Puerto Rican parade on Sunday. It was great. We're still trying to find video on it, but it keeps saying it's rejecting. It's restricted that you can't watch it. I don't know why. I'm trying to find a piece of video for it. So if anybody has video out there, send it to me, please. What's going on, Ralph?
Very exciting week this week.
I know.
The Knicks won the championship finally.
Yep. Hell yeah.
50 plus years. Went to the Yankee game on Wednesday. Saw Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson. That was great. It's just a really busy week. Work.
Yeah.
I'm taking off a couple of days next week. I need a little break.
Mm-hmm.
My body's killing me.
Well, I just went back to work on Wednesday. It was good. A little tiring because I'm not used to the groove again, but I'm getting back into the groove. So,
well, you work 8 jobs, so
I know.
You'll get back to the groove.
Oh no, they keep me busy over there. Trust me.
And the school ends next week. A lot of
the 26th graduation.
Kids are graduating.
Yeah.
It's just and Father's Day is Sunday.
Yep.
Also, the beginning of the summer. Mm-hmm. And you know what happened at the beginning of the summer? Well, actually, when I was growing up, we had a swimming pool, but my father used to open it. He used to open it up in day after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they're opening up their pools now, and I asked this special person sitting right next to me to come on and talk about safety and all kinds of safety for even electricity, even working in your house, even running all kinds of lines. But I've known this gentleman for a long time.
Yeah.
He's married to a wonderful person that I grew up next to, Kathy Booth.
Kathy Booth.
Yep. So let me introduce you to Mr. Matteo Gaudio, Matty. We call him Matty. How you doing, Matty?
I'm doing well. Ralph and John, thank you so much for allowing me to come on your show and talk about this very important subject.
Yes.
I ran into Ralph a little while ago, and I proposed this to him, and he couldn't wait to get me on.
No, I couldn't wait because it's a very important topic that you're going to be talking about, and people need to listen. And what I was telling you before, I had some interactions with some people, and I told you about it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So, tell everybody about yourself, Matty.
Okay, Matteo Gaudio, long life Glen Cove resident. Ralph and I went to school together, graduated together. I did a little college, got.
We didn't get in trouble at the same time. You always. I went one way. You went another.
I started working for Covino Electric. My best friend Anthony Covino got me involved with his brother's company. One of the best electricians on the North Shore of Long Island, in my opinion, and I learned from the best. Here I am, 42 years later. I started, basically a year out of high school, and I was 25 when I got my first electrical license. Got married, and I started my business a month later. So I've been in business for 36 years in Glen Cove, serving the Glen Cove community in the whole North Shore area. I'm licensed all throughout Nassau, Suffolk, all the 3 townships, Town of Oyster Bay, Hempstead, North Hempstead, and all the little villages in between. Even up in Seacliff, that little, couple of mile square block, I have to be licensed up there too. So
You have to be licensed in every town or city?
Yes.
Why is that?
The 5 boroughs is different. That's a whole nother entity. But Suffolk County is a little bit easier because it's one license for all of Suffolk. Nassau County, I don't know why it's been like this ever since I've been licensed in the 90s. It's the 3 major townships, Town of Oyster Bay, Town of Hempstead, and Town of North Hempstead. And then you have Long Beach also, which I went down there and took my test, and I got that license also probably about 10 years ago because I had a really big project going on. So I went and got that one. But then you got like Freeport, Village of Hempstead, Mineola, Westbury, all these little municipalities and villages. In my opinion, it's all about the money. You got to go in there, you got to pay a couple $100 to, get your license there. The good thing is I don't have to take a test for all those little licenses because they reciprocate as long as you have one of the 3 townships that issued you the license and become a master electrician. Then, I go up to Seacliff, I pay $100, I fill out a form, I give them all my insurance certificates, and they give me a permit to work there for a year.
Do you have to recertify once a year or every couple of years or no?
With depending on when your renewal comes up, yes.
Yeah.
Depending on when your renewal comes up, you have to not recertify, but renew your license.
Because things change, correct?
Yeah, everything changes. I brought with me my 2020 code book because we're on the 20. Actually, so let me tell you a little bit about this. The NFPA 70 is the National Electrical Code. We are right now, New York State Residential Building Code adopted the 2023 NFPA 70. Every 3 years, we have to take classes and get certified in it in order to renew our license. Now, unfortunately, that's only in Suffolk County. Nassau County used to do that. We're trying to bring it back. I also belong to the National Electric League. I just served as the president for the last 2 years. So we've been advocating for the townships to bring back continuing education, going back to what you said as far as certification goes. So with that, we know that when you call in a master electrician, a licensed contractor, that he's up to date on all the current code requirements. Okay, and it's very important because every 3 years, this code book, which is our Bible, gets changed. In those changes are safety requirements. Okay, so give you an example. Okay, people that have kitchen islands. Okay, they have beautiful countertops on their islands. We, at one point, we were required to have at least one outlet mounted to the side of the island cabinet. Okay, as of 2023, code change. We had a major code change this year. We are no longer allowed to install those outlets on the side. It has to be on the top of the counter, what's called a pop-up outlet. The reason for that is, I don't know what happened, but over years ago, 2 toddlers were playing or running around in their kitchen, and the parents had a crock pot or something on an appliance on the island plugged in, and the toddler pulled the cord, and they got burnt or severely hurt because of it. So codes are always revised because of incidences that happen. Okay.
Who revised that? Is that your the National Electric Code? They revise it
Right here, the NFPA.
That's who
the National
revised
Electrical
everything?
Code. They have code making panels, hundreds of individuals, men, women, peers in the industry that they meet. So you could be on the code making panel for swimming pools. I could be on the code making panel for solar, PV systems, car charging, whatever. And then our group would look at the existing code and then take in any recommendations. You, as a private citizen, could write in and say, hey, I think you should do A, B, and C to this code because of this reason.
And they would listen to us?
And they will listen to it.
Really?
Absolutely. Anybody can make a recommendation. You don't have to be in the industry.
But you have to agree on it, correct?
The code making panel has to agree
Right.
on it in order for it to be published in the new book. So we're actually a code cycle behind because the 2026 code book just came out, but New York State Residential Building Code just adopted the 23 code. We were on the 2017 code up until January. We skipped over the 2020 and went straight to the 23.
Maddie, how many electricians follow that?
Every electrician should be following it.
But is that a guarantee? You know what I mean? Like I see a lot of electricians working on people's houses, and I don't see any writing on their trucks or you know what I mean?
I understand.
I understand that people
Yeah.
have to work extra jobs and stuff, but this is something you got to take seriously. Is electricity.
It's a very serious thing. Most people don't understand, the dangers of electric because they just figure, hey, I turn the switch on, the light turns on, the fan turns on, everything is good. But there's a lot of things that are associated with wiring a house to bring it into service from the utility pole into the house, the meter pan, and the bonding and grounding if it's not done properly. Prior to the show, Ralph and I were talking about his days in Cablevision. And,
That was a disaster.
Yeah.
I'll just say it real quick. What happened was we went to a call. I think it was in Port Washington. It was two of us that went. My buddy Mike Callista, and so we went to the house, and they were saying that the boxes weren't working. She had 3 boxes. We went in the house, and I tried to put the box on. It wouldn't go on. But when she put the fan on, like I said, the lights dimmed. So, but I didn't think anything of it. So what I did was we carried the meters. I unplugged the box from the. I unplugged the wire out of the box. I got a shock that it just. I went back because I didn't know what just happened. Then all of a sudden we see smoke coming out of the side of the house, and then the house started going on fire. So I was like, oh my God. And I felt so bad. But then the ambulance came to see if we were okay. But that was very scary. Maddie, I'm telling you, all they did was unplug it from the box and the whole house went up. And learning from what happened is that she just had the whole house rewired by a friend. Somebody who does electric work on the side. So her house burnt down for that. And I felt, and to this day I feel bad because, you go in the house, you don't expect that, and you leave there and the whole house went on fire. It was horrible, man.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
unfortunately, you hear things like that, and there's nothing you could have done to know that danger was present. One of the things that we could tell the listeners today is that if you do experience any lights flickering or dimming abnormally, you have to call in a licensed electrician to check it out, because what it normally means is that you have a loose neutral between your electrical equipment in the house and the transformer, and it can cause a fire if the right conditions are met. In your situation, all you did was disconnect the cable box.
Do they call PSE&G first?
They can, but it's normally...
Because I know because I remember we had this one problem
depends
at
on
my house.
how bad it is.
Yeah, we had a problem at my house where PSE&G came and they said that they only take care of the line coming in.
Correct.
The rest of the conduit that's up to you.
Correct. PSE&G's responsibility is the service drop that goes from the pole to the house and the actual meter itself. The riser, the meter pan, and everything in the house is the homeowner's responsibility. So you can call PSE&G, and they might tell you got to call an
So what's the
electrician.
signs? What's the signs again?
I'm sorry.
What's the signs again? If it's
If the lights are flickering
Right.
or dimming abnormally. Like once in a while when my air conditioner kicks on, the lights will dim for like a split second and then go back on again. And that's okay because of today with all the LED lighting, especially if you have them dimmed a little bit. If the air conditioner comes on, when the air conditioner turns on, it pulls a lot of amperage to get the motor started. So your lights might dim for a split second.
yeah, we got central air too.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
not a problem. The problem is like when your lights are constantly dim, and even if you turn on a blender or a microwave or something like that, if the lights are dimming constantly, you have a problem.
So call your local, call your licensed electrician.
Call your licensed electrician. So Ralph touched on something that the homeowner had a friend do electrical work in the house. I stress to everybody, do not hire your cousin, your brother-in-law, your friend to do any electrical work in your house. You have to call a licensed master electrician, a licensed contractor. We are up to date with codes. We have the proper insurances. Our men are properly trained by us to look for dangers in your house. And sometimes, you hire somebody because you like,
It's always cost.
It's going to cost
yeah,
more money,
that's what
this
they
and
say.
that. But
what's worth more, your life and spending a little
exactly.
bit the
So-
right way? You spending it the right way, or you want to bring somebody in? And that's another thing where I touch base on you. I ran into a gentleman, and he was telling me, he goes, well, listen, there's people that they're plumbers, they do it on the side. There's electricians that do it on the side because they have full-time jobs, but they make extra money. Correct. But, listen, if you're going to have something done, you got to do it right. And if you think that you're saving a little bit of money, in the long run, you're probably not, because something could happen in the long run, correct?
The homeowner always takes the risk of hiring a non-licensed contractor, whether it's an electrician, a plumber, even a carpenter. Okay, you could have some carpentry work done in your home. I've been on some jobs where we've done renovations, and when they open the walls and ceilings, the carpentry work is like, how did this house not fall down? It's like I think the sheetrock was holding it up. So it's an abortion. It really is. But you as a homeowner, you are taking a risk on hiring these people. Now, as a homeowner, you could do your own work, okay, to a certain limit. You want to change out
I don't even recommend
a
that.
light fixture,
Well, that's different.
an outlet,
Yeah,
a
that's-
switch, shut the breakers off, swap it out, you're good to go. But, don't do any major work by yourself, or hire a non-licensed contractor.
And especially the way things are being built today, they just put them together like with glue. It seems like everything that goes up, it doesn't even look like. I can't say it's not done right, Matty, but how do these buildings go up so fast? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
And it's just you ever think about that?
Yeah, we see it all the time. I mean, our specialty is custom home building. I never really worked for builders doing like those track houses type of thing. We didn't do that type of work at Covino because we were high end specialty. Custom homes. We work for some of the finest builders on the North Shore, and I work for a group of builders now and contractors that we do a lot of high-end, renovations. I mean, we're in the middle of a kitchen project right now. The kitchen alone, is probably about a $300,000 renovation.
Wow.
The cabinets alone are $100,000, but you're talking about a high-end finish. It's nice. We like being part of those projects because we get to see really beautiful finishes, and our lighting really complements it with all the cabinet lighting that we do inside the cabinets, under the cabinets. It's a nice feature to add to the kitchen.
And I know you for a long time, so I know the way you do your work. You're very precise. You like the things be done right, of course.
Yeah.
But I know that you're very meticulous when it comes to listen. This is the way it's got to be. I don't care how I'm going to get it done, but that's that. I'm telling you, that's you. Just a shout out. I got to give a shout out to my buddy Joe Fertalisi. He's his wedding anniversary is today. Happy anniversary. Jeez, I don't know how long he's been married, but guy lives in. I thought I was going to see him at Yankee Stadium because he does some driving. But happy anniversary, Joe. You have any shout outs to give?
Yeah, well, I want to shout out to my beautiful wife, Kathy, of 36
best.
years.
The best.
Kathy Booth Gaudio.
The best.
In the house.
She is the best.
She runs the front end of the high school, and people love her. John just stepped away. I'm sure he'll want to say something about her.
Oh, yeah, he will.
But, yeah, and all my kids, too. Frank.
And you just got, your son just got married.
Yeah, my son Dominic just got married a couple of weeks ago. My daughter graduated. It's our family is growing. I got a grandson, another one on the way.
Wow.
So, it's a lot of good things. We're blessed. We truly are blessed.
Yeah.
Kathy and I, and
Kathy's great. Kathy is great. Every time I see her, she gives me a big hug. And then when my wife sees me, she goes, "What are you doing here?"
Well, you're from the old neighborhood on East Avenue, Connolly School.
Yeah, that East Avenue is great. But and you notice, or in our generation, how happy I am for everybody. So many of us, we prevailed. It's just like you started your own business. Now I got this, and I always had good jobs. I got a great family, 2 great kids. I know I drive my wife crazy, but, she had to call the doctor the other day because I refuse, I'm thick-headed. I'm thick-headed.
Are all men?
Yeah, we're all thick-headed. But anyway, so there was a woman that was really interested in this show. And I was telling you before, she just got her pool put in. I saw her she came up to me by the Chase Bank. And so she said to me, and this is a question to you. So they just got a built-in pool, and I think they finished it last year, but they're going to use it this year. She wanted to know if it's safe to go in the pool with the equipment on, with the filter on, anything. Is it safe to have that stuff on? Or should it be shut off when you go in the water?
Okay. That's a great question. And here's my answer to that. Okay. It depends. And here's why it depends. You said she got the pool installed.
She got the pool installed a year ago, but they're going to use it for the first time this year.
If it was installed a year ago and all the proper permits were taken out and the proper inspections were done, the pool should be safe to swim in. Okay. So yes, you can.
She said Locust Valley did it. She said Locust Valley
Electric. Yeah, they're a competent electrical local company. I'm sure they got everything inspected and done correctly. So I would have no problem with your family swimming in that pool while the lights are on, the pumps are working, whatever. It is perfectly fine. Now, if you ask me that question about, hey, I got a 20-year-old pool or a 10-year-old pool, is it safe? I don't know. And the reason for that is because when pools are installed, okay, every year they're supposed to be, as a homeowner or the pool company, they should be inspecting it for any signs of deterioration, faulty breakers, faulty cords or plugs or anything that could possess a danger. And if it is, then it has to be repaired promptly, okay? So if you do have a dangerous situation, no, you don't want those things to be on. You don't want the pool light to be on. You don't want the filter to be running while your family's swimming in the pool.
But even if, Maddie, even if it's ran underneath with a conduit, you still have to check that?
Yeah, I mean, there are different wiring methods that
Okay.
we use when we wire pools. That's one of them. There are things to look for in the pools. One of the biggest safety features that every pool has is called the equal potential bonding grid. Okay, and what that does is it bonds all the components, all the metal components of the pool together. So you're talking about the pool panel, you're talking about the filter motor, the Polaris motor if you have one, the pool lights, the ladder cups, anything metal around the pool. And what we also do is we run what's called a perimeter bonding grid. Okay, it's a bare copper wire that gets run around the pool, and it picks up at least 4 points of the pool. A lot of the pools today are metal. Okay, even if it's gunite, the gunite, pool guys, they stick out the rebar for us to pick up with our clamps. Okay, as of the 23 code, besides that, we are now required to put in a 3-foot wide copper mesh from the edge of the pool out. And what that does is not only does it bond the pool, but it bonds the surface that you walk on. So picture yourself inside the pool, okay, and it's not bonded properly. You're getting out of the pool. Now all of a sudden there's a voltage somewhere in the ground. As you're stepping out of the pool, you become that path that the voltage is looking to ground. So you're going to get shocked.
My God.
So the bonding grid that goes around the pool surface underneath the pavers bonds that. It reduces that voltage gradient. So there's no shock hazard. So there's a lot of things that go into pools. So 100% with pools, do not use anybody other than a licensed
But
contractor.
Maddie, and I don't know if you know this, but do people that when they buy a pool, say they go to Island Recreation, does Island Recreation tell these people?
Nope.
They don't tell them?
Nope.
Why?
Because what are they looking to do?
Sell the pool.
Sell the pool. Do
Right.
they want to scare you out of buying a pool, or they want to sell you the pool?
Yeah, but you want to be safe too, correct? They don't care about
Yeah,
safety?
but listen, I don't know what Island Rec does.
No, I don't know
Okay,
either.
you
Even
know,
Arrows
we're
or all these other.
assuming, it
Yeah.
could be any pool company, but I mean, today you could probably buy a pool online and have it delivered to
Yeah,
your
you
house,
can.
But it's up to the homeowners. Number one, the homeowners should always check with their local town ordinances, okay? Because even if you put up, the pop-up ones that you inflate and stuff, I don't think there's
I think
any.
you're supposed to put a 6-foot fence around it.
Yeah. with gates,
With the gate, right, with-
automatic gates
right,
that close, right?
Yep.
Spring loaded and
Yep.
all that. So always want to check with your local town, codes, and they will tell you what is required to have a pool installed. And if you are using a reputable pool company, they will guide you to it. Most of the pool companies in the area, they're pretty good. They know what the codes are, and they will help you. And they will, if you don't have an electrician, they will bring or recommend someone to you.
But you're better off bringing somebody that you trust and is capable of doing the job.
Yeah.
You don't want to bring some mojo out of the closet. Oh yeah,
No.
Oh, that guy's charging you $300. I'll charge you $100.
No.
But for a fact that people always get dragged in because when they say, well, he's going to charge you this, but I'll charge you this, and then you don't even. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Ralph, there are certain things in life that you could price shop.
That's right.
Okay, and you could price shop electricians too, because we're all different.
Right.
We all charge different rates depending on the size of our shop, our overhead, and so forth. Okay, but if you want to compare me to any of the other electrical companies in the area, I don't have a problem with that. But don't compare me to your, cousin that does electrical work on the side
Right.
because he works at the university or he used to work at like Grumman as a plant electrician and he knows how to do electrical work. Don't compare me to those guys because they're going to be half the price what I charge, but they don't know what I know.
That's
So
right.
they're not going to recognize the dangers that are existing. And they just want to come in there. You're going to hire them to do a job. They're going to do the job and leave. They're not going to look around and tell you, hey, you need to take care of A, B, and C because this is what is going on here.
Well, what is the so? I don't know if you want to bring this up, but the dangers of pools, like we had that incident a few years ago.
All right, yeah, I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So, in Glen Cove, during COVID in 2020, 2 houses away from me where I live, a tragic event happened where a father and son went swimming in their pool. They were electrocuted and they drowned. It was a shock to the community, to the neighborhood. I still get shooken up, when I speak about it. The cause of the problem was investigated by the Nassau County PD, detectives, and an electrical inspection agency. I'm very friendly with the electrical inspection agency. They actually called me in on it, too, to look at it because I lived next door. He knew I lived next door, and I went over there to look at it with him. So what had happened was it was an existing pool, an old pool that was renovated when the new homeowners took ownership. Nothing was updated on the electrical side of it. If you do have an existing pool in your house, an in-ground pool, if you have an in-ground pool in your house and you do a renovation to it, you want to change the pavers or the liner or anything like that, always bring in a licensed electrician, have him evaluate the wiring, because I can guarantee you it's out of date and needs to be brought up to code, and it's a safety thing. So with that, the homeowner never upgraded the electrical system. A few years after he purchased the house, he did the patio. About a year or two after that, he called in a gentleman to install a pool light for him. The guy was unlicensed, worked for a local contractor, came and did it on the side. Father and son went and swam in the pool. They got electrocuted, and unfortunately they drowned. Now, the problem that was there from what I was told and I saw when the electrical inspection agency, showed it to me, was that there was a problem with the pool motor wiring. At some point, the pool motor wiring, the ground wire and the neutral wire were reversed. So what that was doing was it was putting voltage back on the grounding system of the pool. So as I spoke about earlier, one of the most important things is the bond to create the equal potential bonding grid that we require around the pool. So if that was present, they would have never gotten shocked, okay, if that was installed correctly. So what happened was there was a problem there, but it never found its way into the water. Once this individual installed the pool light and the ground wire was hooked up to the system, it found its way into the pool water. Once, when the motor was on and you go swimming in the pool, anybody that has gotten a shock before knows that your muscles and your body just tightens up and you're done. It's an unfortunate event. It should have never happened. If a licensed contractor went back there, if they were called in to put in the pool light, they would have recognized the dangers and said that, you have a major problem here. This all has to be repaired and updated before we could install the pool light. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
And that's the recommendation when, say, Matty, when you go to a person that wants to put something like a pool light or something, you check everything before anything else gets done, correct?
Yes.
And
Yeah,
then you tell them, listen, this needs to be upgraded or has to be, I guess, repaired. So part of your job is telling them what has to be done first, correct?
Correct. So my guys were on a job yesterday up in Oyster Bay Cove, and we had to just change the switch for the pool light because now we
Was it the Dolans?
No. We now have these beautiful remote capable switches. So we're able to install a switch somewhere in your house and then give you a remote inside your house to control it. So this individual always had to go out to his pool equipment to turn the light switch on and off. So we went in there, put in a Lutron cassette switch and put a Pico controller inside his house. So when he walked out his door, he could turn the pool light on and off. While we're there, I'm looking and one of the bond wires is just hanging out. It's flopping in the breeze. So
man.
I'm like, okay, let's look where it's going. The pool motor has a bond. This has a bond. Where's the bond for the heater? The heater is a metal enclosed. This was an older pool heater. The new one's a plastic. It had no bond. So what we did was we put tap and thread a 1032 screw and put in a special lug, and connected the bond wire to it. So that's one of the things that we do.
You recognize if there's a problem before that. You recognize
exactly. One of the things I do want to talk about is GFCI protection. Everybody in their bathroom, in their kitchen, has those little GFCI outlets with the test and reset button on it. You guys all know what it is, right?
I have
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so GFCI protection is required on everything associated with the pool today. Prior to the 2002 National Electrical Code change, it was only required on pool lights and 120-volt outlets. So if you had a 240-volt pump motor or a 240-volt electric heater, it was not required
Why?
because it wasn't required. That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it. Even back in the Covino days, we didn't do it. I didn't do it. I started my business in 1990. I wasn't doing it, right? Once it became a requirement, now you have to do it. And that something must have happened. And I told you, the code change is revised every 3 years. And, we recognize, hey, we got a problem here. We need to address it. So now we're going to require, pool motors to be, GFCI protected. Pool heaters weren't GFCI protected up until I think maybe 2 or 3 code cycles back. It takes time to evolve.
Does the pool owners know about this that don't have it installed? Do they know that it has to be it should be installed, or is it
Probably not, because it's not something a homeowner looks for. They're not researching the code. It's something that the pool installer and the electrician should 100% know.
so? If you go to the house and you don't see it, you tell them that it has to be.
Correct. So now we also have something that we do, what's called a bond integrity test. Okay, so let's say you call me out to your house. Hey, Matt, I need you to come check my pool. Okay, well, there's a couple things I need to do. I have to check to see if all the GFCIs, the outlets, any cords are frayed or any plugs that look burnt up or anything like that. Check the connections inside the pool motors, and then what we have to do is called a bond integrity test. We take out our ohm meter and we have to check all the metallic parts of the pool back to a reference point at the pool equipment. Okay, if we don't get a reading on any of those, that means that it's not bonded correctly. Okay. We had a situation one time where I had to do that for a customer. Everything was good on the pool, but he had a slide put in after the fact. It wasn't bonded correctly. And the slide is aluminum, it's metal. So that has to be bonded to the grid of the pool. So we found a bonding point that we were able to tap off of. We removed all the pavers, dug into the sand, ran out number 8 bare copper wire, and put a special lug at the base of the slide, and we bonded it, and you're good. Another situation I had about 2 years ago, guy over here in Glen Cove calls me up. Hey, Matt, having a problem with my pool motor. Called my pool guy over to, come look at it. And he's like, you need to call an electrician. Pool guy did the right thing. I went there and looked at it. This was a pool that when I was a helper with Joe Cavino back in 1984, 85, somewhere around there, because I started in 84. It was like when I first started, I was a helper. I was green. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I was working with a guy, Carl Kleeman, he's a great electrician, one of my mentors. We wired that pool back then.
And it had the same wiring and motor there?
Has not been touched since.
My God.
Ralph, I'll show you pictures later.
Are you kidding me?
I got them in my phone. Everything was completely corroded, rotted out.
And they were still going in the pool?
Covers missing on the outlet covers. No GFCI protection at the panel because it wasn't required back in the 80s. Okay?
My God.
So it was done correctly back then, but it doesn't meet today's code and standard. So I said, you have a little bit more of a problem. You need to come outside with me.
Oh, yeah.
Took him outside, and I showed him everything. He goes, Matt, make it safe. Do what you had to do. Well, I had to order equipment, order materials. We went back another day. It took 2 of my men an entire day to replace everything and bring it up to code and put in the proper.
How many days?
1 day.
Oh, 1 day.
1 day. 2 guys, one full day to rip everything apart, put everything back in, all new equipment, all in-use covers, GFCI protection, the whole 9 yards to make it safe for them. Fix up all the bonding and everything also. So, that's just one example. So what happened was after that incident at my house, I was shooken up. I just couldn't believe what happened. So I told my guys that any job that we're on, take a peek in the backyard and see if they have a pool. If they do, tell the homeowner that we are offering a free visual safety inspection. What do? We go out to the pool equipment and we look around. GFIs, yes, no. Bonding, yes, no. The lugs are corroded. The cord going from the pump to the plug, is it dry rotted? Is it frayed? What's the outlet look like, and so forth. Every single pool that we looked at had a problem.
Are you kidding me?
Every single one. Some of them were major. Some of them were minor. Okay, and a lot of the problems are, I don't know if we spoke about this off air, but with the pool companies, right? Because we live up in the Northeast here, we get harsh winters. So the pool companies, when they blow out your lines, they remove the filter pump motor and they put it in your shed or in your garage. And in the summertime, they come back and they put it all back together and plug it in. Well, on that pump motor, there's a little lug, a copper lug. And there's that number 8 bonding wire that's part of the bonding system of the pool. That's supposed to be reattached, okay? Probably 90% of the times, it's not reattached.
Really?
And a lot of times is because the pool guys are in a rush, they're not paying attention, or they just don't know, okay? And when you buy pool motors from, these pool stores, they come with lugs attached to them. They're not made out of solid copper. They're out of some type of, bimetal product that over time they end up rusting. The screws end up rusting, so they end up breaking, okay? We use a solid copper, it's called an open pool lug. It's a solid copper lug, and it has a stainless steel screw in it. This thing will never rust out on you, okay?
So they're cheap. They're giving you a cheap product. You're probably paying good money, but all the stuff.
You're paying great money for these pool motors.
Right, but they got cheap stuff on it.
Yeah, Yeah, because it's our own fault. We want to buy cheap.
Yeah, I
we
guess
wanna,
so.
We don't want to spend money. So
Yeah, right,
you know,
right.
The
Yeah, but
manufacturing.
it's your life.
What we do at Gaudio Electric, if I come and wire your pool brand new, I take the lug that came on the pool motor,
And you
I
take
throw
it-
I throw it in the garbage.
Good.
And I put my lug on it.
That's awesome.
Because I need to sleep at night.
Right.
I need to know that when I go to sleep at night, I did the best job for Ralphie and his family to make sure that you guys are going to be safe for years to come, as long as you maintain it. Now, you as the homeowner, okay, a GFCI is only as good as if it's tested. So the GFCI manufacturers, if you look at the paperwork, they're supposed to be tested once a month. Who tests it once a month? Nobody does.
No.
So what the GFI manufacturers did was they recognized that, hey, an average homeowner is not going to go there and test it every month. So now GFCIs are called self-testing GFCIs. They self-test themselves constantly, okay? When there's a failure, the GFI outlet just stops working. The older GFIs from 10, 20 years ago, when the GFCI protection was no longer present, it still functioned as an outlet, but the GFCI protection was not there anymore. So you as a homeowner, if you have a pool and you have a GFCI protecting the outlet or the motor or any equipment, there's a little white button that says test on it. Go over there and push it.
Yeah.
And the breaker's going to trip to the middle position. That functioning properly. Turn the GFI off. Turn the breaker to the full off position to reset it, and then turn it back on again.
This should be done once a month during the summer.
I would. Well, you go out there and clean your pool or put chlorine tabs in there. Do it at that time.
Now the story. You know what's funny, Maddie? The story that you just told us about the guy who didn't change anything for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
How many people are out there right now that have that same issue that don't even know?
Thousands of them, and I'm not blaming the homeowner.
No, you don't blame the homeowner because
he doesn't know.
Right.
I put some of this blame and emphasis on the pool companies because
but they sold the pool and they don't. That's it.
The pool companies should know enough that when they see something rusting out or the cover's broken and it's not looking the right way, hey, maybe you need to do something about this. You need to call somebody in here. That pool company did the right thing.
But how do you know that the guys that go and put it back together or install it, how do you know if they're, I can't say educated, but proper training? How do you know? They could hire somebody and say, okay, you're hired. All you got to do is put the pool stuff together and just get out of there. You know what I mean?
Are you talking about the pool company itself now? Or
I'm talking about any pool company,
right,
who hires an outside person.
Outside person, electrical contractor?
No, just to go to the house and put their pool on and then just leave.
Oh yeah, no, you don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't know, and unfortunately, the pool companies,
nothing against them.
Nothing against them. Pool companies are great, but it's a seasonal business. So sometimes maybe they hire part-time help in the summertime and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
They're not properly trained. I work with one or two pool companies that they're privately owned, they're owner-run, and they're on top of their stuff.
That's good.
They don't mess around.
That's good.
They make sure, and I've had these conversations with them. I've spoken to numerous pool companies about the dangers of it, and I brought them up to speed. I'm like, you guys need to do A, B, and C. You need to do visual inspection. You have to make sure that bond wire is constantly connected, and if you see any rust or corrosion, change out the pool lug. They could change out the pool lug. If not, call us. We'll do it.
Yeah. So when you go to a house and do a completely different job, and if they have a pool in the back, you guys go there for free and just...
we were doing it at that time. I mean, we kind of slowed down now doing that. I will have a conversation with the homeowner or, indirectly, I'll just go out there myself and, take a little peek and then, make a suggestion. I don't want to make it look like I'm trying to generate work.
No, but you're protecting these people from anything that, God forbid, happens, like that incident next door to your house. I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't want to see that ever again.
No, never. And if this podcast could reach one family that tomorrow they go outside and look at their pool equipment, they think it's a little shady, and they call their electrician in and they fix it. I
think it's
did
reaching,
my
right?
job.
Oh, no, 100%.
How we doing on? How we doing?
No, doing
Any
good.
shout outs?
There's a lot of shout outs.
There you go.
There's a lot of shout outs.
There you go, Manny.
Yeah.
A lot of people listening.
Ralph, I love my job. I love being an electrician. When I first got
And you're good at it.
When
You're-
I'm good. There's a lot of good guys out there.
Yeah.
When I joined the National Electric League 10 years ago, or more than that, probably about 15 years ago.
And Anthony Gavino was great.
He's a great guy.
Great.
We're all a bunch of licensed contractors, vendors, supply houses, anybody to do with the electrical industry. I met a lot of great guys, and we're all about safety and education and trying to do the right thing for the homeowner. Okay, I was asked to join the board about 6-7 years ago, and then I eventually became the president of the National Electric League, which I just finished my tenure.
What was your duties as the president?
Just to run it, basically, to run the organization. What I emphasized on was this, what we're talking about now, was electrical safety. So he's actually the president now, Anthony Segarra from Segarra Electric. Him and I, we formed, probably about 6-7 years ago, we formed an unlicensed task force committee. Okay, me, him, and one other guy are on it. And what we do is we meet with the commissioners from the building departments. So we met with Tim Zykes. He's the deputy commissioner over town of Oyster Bay. We met with him. We met with Steve Haramis over at town of North Hempstead. We have not met with town of Hempstead yet because they have an interim building department commissioner, and he doesn't want to meet with us yet because they're trying to find a permanent one. Once we do, we'll get on that. Okay. Part of our organization also is we have members that are on the licensing committees for all these 3 townships. So, like when I got my certificate of competency, I took my test in town of Oyster Bay. Okay, town of Oyster Bay has about like 5 or 6 guys on their electrical licensing board. And the other ones too, they have a few gentlemen on it that are all licensed contractors that work part time, not even part time, like once a week or whatever. They go in and they issue tests and so forth. So what during my tenure as the president,
A lot of people are saying you're a great
Yeah,
electrician.
Mickey, you see that?
Look, I just saw
thank
that.
you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, Mikey just said you're a great electrician.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
I take pride in my work, and anybody that knows me knows that.
Yeah.
I learned from the best guy, Joe Cavino. We did everything above and beyond. We always used to say there's the National Electrical Code, and then there's the Joe Cavino Code, because if the National Electrical Code, back then, right, the National Electrical Code told us we only had to bond 2 points on the pool.
Right.
Joey made us do 4.
Why is
okay.
that?
Redundancy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What if one of them failed? Now
Demetrius said, "What's up?"
Demetrius Fusion Electric, my best friend.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they love you, man. You
He's the
see
man.
that?
He's the man.
Thank God.
Yeah.
And you're never home like me.
So
You're like me.
Demetrius,
Yeah.
you want a pool guy? He probably does about 50 pools a year.
Really?
Oh yeah, he works for a couple of pool companies, but he's licensed in 5 boroughs all over Long
How do
Island.
you, Maddie, as an electrician that's been doing it for 40 plus years, Demetrius, your friend, a couple other people, how does a homeowner educate themselves before they buy a house, or if they're going to get a pool installed? Where can a resident, a homeowner, educate themselves on any kind of safety with electricity or a pool or anything that has to be done with electricity?
That's a good question. I don't have a definite answer for that. I really don't. I know we're working on our website, so once it's up and running, and maybe we could have some informative information on that subject, I could get back to you.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I gave you and
Yes.
John
Yep.
is from Town Supervisor Joseph Saladino.
Mm-hmm.
Every homeowner in Town of Oyster Bay received this in the mail. I got this from the mail. I just made copies of it and gave it to you guys, okay? And it's titled Pool Safety Information from the Department of Planning and Development, Oyster Bay, Town of Oyster Bay. So you could probably go on the townofoysterbay.com website.
And they'll tell you everything.
Find that information. Keeping your swimming pool secure and safe. Safe ways to secure your pool. Okay, you brought up a fact that if you have a swimming pool in your house, you have to have a fence.
Yeah.
With a lockable closing gate, automatic closing gate, right? So no kid or anybody, goes in there accidentally and, God forbid, drowns.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by water here on Long Island. Everybody should learn how to swim, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know how to swim.
A lot of people never either went to the beach or got pools.
I learned how to swim when I went to city camp over at Daisy School when I was maybe 12 years old, maybe 10 years old.
Yeah.
I don't remember. They took us down to Prival's Beach and they put us in the water.
The whole East Avenue learned how to swim in back of my yard.
Yeah.
Because we always had a pool. So everybody was back in the pool.
Yeah, so when our kids were born, Kathy would take them over to the Y and they did swimming lessons there. When I bought my house where I am now on Hitching Post Lane, it came with the pool. She freaked out, okay? You come out the back deck, there was no guards or anything like that. The first thing I did was I built railings. I put a gate with a latch that I had a hard time opening, want to make sure that the kids didn't get in there. And we just had, Frankie and Teo at the time. Dami, was just born. He was an infant, but they were old enough where they knew. So what we did was we hired a lifeguard, and she came into our pool and taught them pool safety.
That's awesome.
In our pool.
That is great.
Okay. Well, fast forward now, I don't know, 7, 8 years. My daughter Allie is born, right? The kid, we were on the deck with a couple that had come to visit us, and she was, those little red little cars that you go in, you push yourself around.
Yep.
Well, she was doing that on the edge of the pool. We didn't see this. She fell in the pool. My son Matteo jumped into action, dove in the pool, grabbed her, and got her out before we even knew what happened.
That's amazing.
So it is amazing, but that's why, if you have a pool, teach your kids the safety.
Thank God. Boy, thank
that could
God.
have been
My
dangerous.
God.
And it happened so quick. Before we were able to get up and see what happened, because we heard the splash, he was already in the pool.
That's unbelievable.
He already had her out.
So, listen, you did the right thing. You brought somebody in, but not everybody's like you or myself or Master J over there. I'll be honest with you, Maddie. When my father had a pool, we had who came over? I forgot who it was, but it was a licensed electrician, and my father wanted to run underneath, the ground, the wire, but we had an above ground. But he wanted to run. I think they came over, they tagged on to the outside plug, then they ran the wire underneath, and then brought it up to the pool. Okay. So my father would turn it on and off. What happened was, I remember that day, my father was cutting the grass. And what do you think happened?
He cut the wire?
Cut the wire up. So what do you think my father does?
Put tape on it.
Put tape on it.
Tape fixed everything,
No,
but not the right way.
You didn't. But at that time, you're talking about the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
You put electrical tape on it.
Yeah, no.
And you thought that was the fix.
Yeah, definitely not right. So a couple of things are wrong with that. If he's cutting the lawn with his lawnmower, he shouldn't be able to damage the wire.
No, it should have been in a conduit, and it should have been down.
Correct.
Down.
Wires, conduits, electrical in the ground is supposed to be buried 18 inches. There's a reason for that, okay, to protect it. where you come up out of the ground, it's got to be protected. It's got to be inside of a pipe. First of all, you're not supposed to run UF wire or direct barrier wire to any pools. It has to be in conduit. It has to be a minimum of a solid number 12 ground wire. Okay, there are a lot of minimum requirements in here. Okay, so even with above ground pools, they have to be bonded. Okay, unless the whole thing is completely plastic. But there are going to be some metal parts.
Aluminum. It was aluminum.
Aluminum, yeah. So the aluminum components, they have to be bonded. Okay, it's you guys are lucky. Thank God nothing ever happened. You know.
No, well, he. I think he brought over. I forgot who it was. It was a licensed electrician, and he came over and he goes and he said to him, "Sal, what are you crazy?" You know, he dug. I think he dug it with a little shovel, and he tried to.
Yeah.
My father tried to do it himself.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And I remember the day when he was cutting the lawn, and he hit it, and he goes, you know the way my father was.
Yeah.
You know what? He put the tape around it, and we still went swimming. Believe it or not, but he always used to unplug it. But this time, he attached it to a switch.
Okay.
So he could turn it on and off.
Right.
Because he didn't want to unplug it anymore. But when that guy came over, I forgot who it was. He said, "Sal, what are you, crazy?"
Yeah.
He said, "You could at least, called us, or you could have had a fire. You could have,
the fire, shock hazard.
you know the way
something.
those old
Yeah.
Italians are. They don't want to. They don't want to hear it.
I got a good question on Facebook, on TikTok Live,
there you go.
actually. One person's asking if you use a non-licensed electrician. Now, say if something happens to your house, does that void your insurance?
If the insurance company comes in and does an investigation and finds out that the fire or the damage or whatever happened is because you hire an unlicensed contractor, you bet your ass they're
Really?
going to deny it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, see that?
No, that was a
Oh,
good
you
question.
kidding?
That's a
Good
great question. Who was that from?
Yeah.
From Jennifer.
Yeah.
Wow.
And listen, you know these insurance companies, they always want to deny
Oh,
claims.
oh.
So if they'll look for any excuse.
Absolutely.
So, I said this in the beginning. As a homeowner, you're taking a huge risk hiring unlicensed contractors, okay? We pay a lot of money for general liability insurance to come into your property to do work.
Right.
So you know that, God forbid, something happens, you're covered under my insurance.
So the person who got work done with an unlicensed electrician, and then something happens, you're up Schitt's Creek.
No, you're up Schitt's Creek, of course.
You're up Schitt's Creek.
That's why when I did the whole electricity over in this house when I bought it. I made sure I had a licensed electrician, and also I did everything that made sure the people that worked in this house was licensed.
What about
All the time.
when you did your those things in the roof? What the hell they call them again?
Solar panels.
Solar panels.
Oh
Yeah.
no, they're done. You have to have license.
Those that's a permitted job.
That's a permitted
you
job.
are not getting away with.
Really?
No,
oh my God!
no, the
You're
building-
not getting away
How
with
much?
a
Why is
moonlighter.
it? You have to make sure that stuff.
No,
Oh
that-
my
that's
God!
all-
The bonding and grounding that's involved in those solar arrays up on the roof is tremendous.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Big time.
That's all. City. You have to go to city permits. You have to go to the city hall, and you have to abide by their codes.
But then
Yeah.
you get a licensed electrician that.
No,
puts
no,
it in.
they have the
They
company.
have the solar companies have
they
licensed
do?
contractors
Yeah.
either on staff or that they work with very closely. I have one or two guys in the National Electric League that they do a lot of solar work, and they get hired by a solar company to go and do all the hookups.
Where does it
for
get
them.
bonded?
They all get bonded together and then back. You saw that equipment walking
Yes.
into
Yeah.
Jay's house.
Yep.
That it all gets bonded together.
Yep.
And it goes into the panel too,
And-
right?
And everybody, you have like 3-4 people here doing inspection at one
Oh, is that
time.
right?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, they don't turn them on till it passes inspection.
Do you inspect everything yourself, or do you have like outside?
No, we have in the electrical industry, the townships do not have their own inspectors like they have building inspectors and plumbing inspectors. So we rely on third-party agencies. So years ago, everybody knows them as the New York Board of Fire Underwriters. There was one inspection agency. They were out of the city, and they did all of New York and all of Long Island. They dismantled, and there's probably about, I want to say 5 to 8 of them on Long Island now between Nassau and Suffolk County. So we hire a third-party inspection agency that is approved by the township where you're doing the work, okay? They come in, they do an inspection, they give us a certificate, and we present it to you as the homeowner. Say, here you go, all my work is inspected, here's a certificate, this is what you're going to need to close out your permit to get your C of O on your house.
Right. See,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but you won't get that if you hire some
No,
you know,
absolutely not.
some Joe Schmo out of the street. You know
First
what I
of
mean?
all, if you're doing that, somebody say the building what's it called, the inspector
Inspector, yeah.
comes by, and if they don't see that permit in your window of your house, in the front window, I had to have a permit in my front window.
Yeah.
If they swing by and they don't see that permit, they'll stop that car and come out and ask
You know what's-
us, the homeowners, where's your permit?
You know what's funny? Now now I think about it. In Cablevision, do you know that after we were done installing, we had a QC tech go out and QC our work from OSHA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they would check our work to make sure everything was properly grounded, everything was tight, because they go around with a meter.
These are new installs, I'm assuming, right?
New installs, yeah. But even if we add something, every job was QC'd. Every single job, they would go around with a meter, and if there's any leak, we would have to go back and repair it, because just like you, it's no joke. It's no joke, because if you ground it wrong, like what I was saying to you before, if you ground it around, the base of the what do you call it?
standpipe.
The standpipe.
Yeah.
If that, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You got to actually put that rod in the ground and make sure it goes, about 20 inches deep in the ground.
Well, we provide something for you guys now, because we have an 8-foot copper ground rod that we drive in the ground that we connect our panel to, and we install a bonding bridge on it, and on there's like 4 or 5 extra lugs for Verizon or Cablevision to hook into when they install their equipment.
Yeah, because now you got all this stuff. You got fiber optics. You got all this stuff.
And the satellite dishes too. I don't know if people are doing satellite dishes anymore.
I got satellite here.
Yeah, but you know what?
but
Satellite is starting to go to apps now. They're starting to get rid of all the satellites on there. But that's another thing. Do you know that on our house we had a satellite put in, and the guy didn't ground it? What do you think happened?
Got hit by lightning.
Got hit by lightning.
Yeah.
Lost everything. And that's the company. I think it was DirecTV at the time.
Yeah. Ralph, one of the other things I want to talk about pools is the pool light itself. Okay. So one of the advances that was made over the years is pool lights will always line voltage, 120 volt.
You're talking inside the pool.
Inside the pool. All right. The pool light that's inside the pool. Okay. The pool light is a sealed unit from the factory with a cord. You order it with a 25-foot cord, a 50-foot cord, a 100-foot cord, whatever it is. We cannot modify that. We got to pull it from point A to B to a proper deck box that's 8 inches above the water level. So, because water goes into
What do you mean
light.
modify? What do you mean by that?
The cord, like if the cord's too short or if it's frayed or anything like that, you can't repair it. You can't modify it. You got to throw it in the garbage. You got to put a whole new one in.
Okay.
Okay. So years ago, all the pool lights were 120 volt. Now, when you think, why would I want to bring a 120 volt pool light into my pool, right? Sounds kind of dangerous. Well, over the years, they've gotten better at it, and now they're 12 volt pool lights. They're low voltage, okay? So what we do is we use a
Did they do that for a reason?
Yeah, to mitigate the risk of electric shock.
Okay.
Okay. So we install a step-down transformer. Okay, you know about transformers that go from 120 volt to 12 volt, but it's not a regular transformer that you buy for like landscape lighting or anything like
Right.
that. It's a special a magnetic isolation transformer. So what that is it has no, the two coils have no direct connection. They're separated by a barrier. So there's no way that 120 volt input current could jump over to the 12 volt output current.
No way.
No way.
100%.
100%. Okay. Listen, I don't want to say that because
Yeah, I know.
somebody's going to say something. You get somebody that puts a 4-inch screw to hang a picture in their house, and it goes through the outside and into the transformer. Something could happen.
Well,
right?
that's that.
I don't want to say but normally under normal conditions, when installed properly, nothing's going to happen. So with that, now all pool lights are 12 volt. Now, there's nothing wrong with you having a 120 volt pool light. I have one in my house, but I make sure that my GFI is properly checked. Matter of fact, it was about 10 years old, my GFI. I just replaced it. I ripped it out and put a new one in. I wanted to make sure that I had a fresh one in there with new technology and it was working properly. Okay, so
And where do you put the switch? Everything is on one switch?
the circuit breaker could either be a GFI breaker or it could go through a GFI outlet.
Okay.
Okay. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll put a regular circuit breaker in. We'll hit a GFI outlet, and then on the load side of that GFI is protect the pool light.
Okay.
Okay. That's another way to do it. If then the reason why I'm saying is if you do any renovation to your pool, okay, pop out that pool light, put a 12 volt in, change out, put a transformer in, and now your pool is up to code, okay, and you're safer.
Well, listen, that's another thing. Well, I was saying to you before. Well, how does a resident know that? Where. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I hate to blow. I know you're saying I can't answer all these questions, but I always think about the residents, and I think about that poor family that lost their loved ones. How do you educate these people? To do the right thing. It's hard, man. It's hard.
The average homeowner is not going to know any of this.
Correct.
Okay. It's up to who's ever renovating the pool to educate them or the homeowner to ask the proper questions. If the homeowner has a electrical contractor that's licensed come in and do any work, they should be educating the homeowner, as myself or any of my men would do if we went to your house to do a repair.
Yeah. Kathy's very lucky to have this.
Yeah. I think whoever gets a pool should take a pool class.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should have an educational.
They should have a class.
Correct.
People that you know what? Before you get a pool, you have to go complete a course.
Yeah, you're right, because just like when you go for your driver's license, don't you have to go for classes?
Yeah.
I think personally,
but Kathy is very lucky.
No, 100%.
And I'm going to tell you why, because she has a licensed electrician in that house already. So she has nothing to worry about. That's when he's home. The poor guy's probably working.
Yeah, but you know what the problem that she has now? I have all these crazy things in my house. I have a lighting system that she goes crazy with. My TVs and my remotes, we just got a new TV and she's having a problem controlling it now.
Oh, really? Was it a smart TV?
Yeah, because, me with my gadgets and everything, for my birthday, my kids all chipped in and bought me this really smart remote that you hit one button and all these crazy things happen. So she's like having a heart attack that she doesn't know.
Yeah, but you know what, Maddie? Lisa's the same way. What happened was I didn't want Cablevision no more. So I said, we're gonna get a streaming device. So she's like, no, cable's easy. You put on 1, 2, and channel 12 comes on. But when you buy it, because I'm into all those gadgets too, and I put the streaming, I put an antenna on the roof. I put an antenna because I get local channels.
Did you ground it?
Yes, it's grounded. Yes. But you know what I did?
You get the hang of it, John.
I ran 6-pair wire. That's the best wire to run for an antenna.
Okay.
So I ran that. So I have an antenna, and you get like about 80 channels on that. Believe it or not. But then we stream, and I remember the first week, Lisa's like, I can't get used to this. I can't get used to this. Now she's a pro. So Kathy could be a pro.
She
Just
will.
learn.
She will.
Just learn.
You know, some people don't like change. You know.
No, but Kathy's a
but
very
she'll
intelligent
get,
woman.
Yeah,
I'm
she
telling
will. She'll
you.
get used. Once she gets the hang of it, and we work out the quirks, then it'll be fine.
So you got a lot of toys in your house?
Yeah, I do. I got some nice things going on. Timed events and
But
everything.
Kathy doesn't like change either.
No?
You should see how I work. At work, they come and they screw up her cameras. She's lost.
Really?
She's lost. She had to come in every day, do it exactly
You know
the same way.
You know what I love about Kathy and the Booth family, and every time I see her or Eddie or somebody, they hug you.
Oh,
They
yeah.
hug me. Like when
You guys are family. You're from the same block.
Yeah, but like when I go up to the high school, if Lisa needs something, I make it a point to go inside to see Kathy, and she's working. She hugs. It's just, she's just a wonderful person.
But she's the same way Maddie is with his job. She's the same way with her job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She does her job to the T, man.
She's passionate about it.
Yeah.
She loves the kids.
Oh,
you're
no,
very
100%.
passionate about your job.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she loves the kids up there, and she'll
Oh.
do anything for them.
Yeah,
Maddie, I walk into a CVS with Lisa, and all the kids are like hugging her. I'm like, what's going on over
Yeah, it's
here?
like, who's this?
Yeah, I mean, she's more famous than me in Glen Cove. What the hell is that all about?
Same thing with me and Kathy. We
you know how-
go anywhere. A kid will go up to her, hug her, and everything like that. She's like, "Oh, that's one of my kids from the school." I kind of figured.
You know it's
Yeah.
her nickname at work, right?
What?
What's
You know it's her nickname at work,
Who?
work, right?
Kathy's?
Kathy's, yeah.
What is it?
You guys don't know her nickname at work?
No.
No.
Judge Judy.
No.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
One of the students called her that.
Why?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
Why
right?
would they call her that?
Because there's one student, Tara. She has a slight disability. She called her because she was telling her something, and I don't know, something happened that day, and she just came out and said, "What are you, Judge Judy?" Since then, we stuck with Judge. We got a picture actually of Judge Judy when she sits.
Are you serious?
in her booth over there?
Kathy's cool.
Yeah, because Kathy will give everybody respect up there. When you walk in, she says good morning to you,
She's
and she
great.
expects you to say good morning back to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
Oh, yeah.
it's a certain decor that you have to have when you're going through her lobby area, and she demands it.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why this girl calls her Judge Judy, because she's
That's
got
like
the gavel
Lisa.
out. You know.
The kids love my wife.
Nah.
They love that. I mean,
Yeah.
they see her and they go nuts. But I'm telling you, to have you around the house. But you ever get people that knock on your door and say, Maddie, can you check the switch for me? And you go over there and
When I lived upstairs from my mother's house, yeah, because it was the neighborhood.
oh yeah,
When we first got married, my family had my parents had a 2-family house up on First Street Extension, right around the corner.
Yeah.
John, right down the
yeah,
road.
yeah.
Have a 2-family house down there, and I lived upstairs for 4 years before we bought our first house. And yeah, people from the neighborhood would come over, and I'd go check it out for them.
But the 40 years you've been doing this, so how much has changed?
Oh, tremendous. I told you, our code gets revised every 3 years, so you could only imagine how many things have happened. The biggest
Your brain
change-
must be fried. All the stuff that you
yeah, but we constantly learn. And, Ralph, I was never a studious, person, but put me in a class with electrical, I'll sit there for hours.
You were made to do this.
I love it because it interests me, and I could read this book inside and out and comprehend anything. Don't ask me to read a novel, because I'm like, whatever.
Did you ever Did you ever go to a job and then being there's new codes? Did you ever go to a job and forgot about the new codes and did the job and you had to rip it out?
No.
No, I'm just saying because you know when you do something you'll be like, oh crap, I couldn't. It's got to be this way,
No,
that's to tell you he's a good electrician.
Yeah, no, I emphasize that we, like right now, okay, GFCI and AFCI protection is required everywhere in the house. For those of you that don't know what that is, GFCI protection is the ground fault circuit interrupters. That's the regular GFIs that you have, okay? Now they came out with what's called an AFCI. It's an arc fault circuit interrupter. It's a circuit breaker that we install on your electrical panel, and it recognizes both series arcs and parallel arcs.
Oh.
What's a series arc? A series arc is a wire that's run through your house, okay? You go in and you put that 4-inch nail to hang your picture up, and you hit that wire and you pierce it, right? You cut through the wire, right? So now the wires barely touching each other. So that's a series arc, right? A parallel arc is you don't cut the wire, but the nail is making contact with it across the hot, neutral, or the hot in the ground. That's called a parallel arc. So the circuit breaker is designed to sense that sine wave and trip immediately.
So it shuts down.
It shuts off.
And
it's a safety feature.
So how do you fix something like that? You got to rewire that whole.
You got to find the problem, and then you have to fix it. Us as electricians have to troubleshoot. Sometimes we figure it out. Sometimes it's very difficult to figure out, and we just end up running a new circuit in between where the problem is. We isolate it because you know how electric runs. You know, we'll run a circuit from the electrical panel. We'll hit the outlet here and then jump to 5 or 6 or 8 other outlets, maybe the light switch. So we start taking things apart and we isolate it, and then we try to figure out where the problem is. And then, you know, if we can fix it, we fix it. If not, we have to run a whole new line.
What's better? You just run the whole new wire.
No, it depends. You know,
Oh, really?
It depends on what's least invasive. So
Right.
I come into your house and your house is beautiful, it's painted, the whole 9 yards. You want me ripping apart sheetrock?
No.
Or do you want me to find it and make a little repair?
You know, I just thought of a question. I was reading the other day. Somebody had a good question. You know, I forgot to write it because I had so much going on this week. But one of the questions, and I thought it was a great question, the guy was saying that in case that there's a hurricane or a power outage, is it better to shut your breakers off and then wait until everything is in the clear and turn it back on? Or just leave everything the way it is, and then when it comes back on, because he's saying that sometimes when it goes back on, like when there could be
a surge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to do that, you could, because there is some validity to that. That when there is a power failure and the power comes back on, it could be a sudden surge. So each house should be equipped with a surge suppressor. Okay. As of 2023, if I come in and change your service out, or we're building a new house, I have to install surge suppressors on your electrical panel.
What's that?
TVSS is a transient voltage surge suppressor. What it does is any surges in the power line, this device has capacitors built into it that absorb that surge, so it protects your electronic equipment. Look at all how much.
I can't believe that.
How many thousands of dollars of equipment do you have right here?
A lot.
If you had a surge, every one of them would fry if you didn't have a surge suppressor.
That's why I got this box underneath here.
There
I
you
got
go.
surge
So you have it.
protectors.
So they make different types of surge suppressors.
Yeah.
Some are mounted to the panel. Some are right at your equipment that you could plug your computers or your TVs in. You plug it into the outlet, and then you plug all your equipment into it.
So what do you suggest? To shut the breaker off until the lights go on? It's hard.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't do that. If you are paranoid that could happen, yeah, do that.
Yeah.
It's an extra safety feature. But
Yeah.
now you're going to be. How are you going to know if the power comes back on? You're going
That's
to have to look at your neighbor.
That's what I wrote back to that
or the
gentleman.
street lights?
That's what I.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote back to the guy, and then he emailed me back. He said, "Well, there's a billboard outside. If that goes on, I know the lights go on." I said,
Yeah,
"Okay."
it would help. Definitely, it would help reduce the.
40 years. Imagine that, John. 40 years.
Wow.
So,
A lot.
what
a
else
lot.
I got on here? Okay, another thing I want to talk about, not just about pool water safety. How about a boat?
Oh,
You guys have any boats?
no.
Okay. Have you ever been on anybody's
Yes,
boat? Okay.
yes.
When you go to the boat, you go into a dock, right? And
Yes.
the boat is on the dock, and they're plugged into shore power.
Yep.
Right? Do not ever swim in the marina. You're hanging out at your friend's boat, having a couple of drinks. It's hot out. I want to take a dip in the water. Don't jump in that water.
Why?
because the chances that you're going to get shocked are very high.
Really?
Very high. Okay. Boat docks, marinas are very dangerous. Okay, because the salt water just destroys everything. Okay. How do you think the wiring gets out to that boat? The dock goes up and down, right? So when you're going down the hard plank, okay, you'll see some electrical panels or maybe disconnect switches, and then you'll see a pipe or maybe a huge rubber cord that goes down and under that dock that goes up and down. Well, as the dock goes up and down, so does that rubber cord. The rubber cord is mounted underneath that dock, and it shows up at the pedestals in between every two boats, right? So now your boat could plug in, his boat could plug in, right? So a lot of times those that wiring or that equipment rusts out, okay, and it creates a voltage in the water, okay. It could also be your boat that has faulty wiring. Now you take your cord and plug it into shore power. Your boat could have faulty wiring and causing that electric voltage to go into the water. So you want to take a dip in the water, take the boat out a couple hundred feet, take a dip, and come back.
But don't even put your feet in the water.
No, because you could get shocked. And now
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those like the dock, where you go off the dock, there, a lot of them the ramps are metal.
Right.
Too.
Yeah.
That's
right?
even worse.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, there a lot of them are metal.
No, there are. You're
it's
right.
even worse.
They don't make a lot of wood.
Yeah, they're
dock,
metal down.
like ramps.
So,
you know?
I'm not sure if it was the 2020 to 2023 code requires mariners to have leakage detection. Okay, there are special devices that monitor the electric, and if there's a voltage leaking into the water, this detects it, and either there's an alarm or something happens, it shuts it off, and then a qualified person has to go down there and find it and do a repair.
But Matty, how many people know this? You know what I mean? Like, say you go on a fishing excursion, like I did last year. I went out of the marina in Glen Cove, and they never gave us instruction.
Well, you're not jumping in the water either.
But
You know?
there's some guys that were drinking. Like,
Yeah,
just to say.
you come back
And
after
it was
a day of
hot
fishing.
as hell.
Yeah.
It was hot as hell that
Well,
day.
you're taking a huge risk. It's very dangerous.
I never knew that.
So the other thing is a private dock. Private docks are even worse. In that report that I gave you, I emailed it to you. If you go down and look at the electric shock drowning, okay, a lot of them are around marinas and private docks. What happens? You have a friend that's upstate. He has a private dock on a lake. But there's a little light at the end of the dock, or he has a lift that brings his boat out of the water, right? So it doesn't sit in the water all the time and rot out. You go up there with your family, your kids jump in the water, all of a sudden they're getting shocked. You as a dad, what are you going to do? You're going to run like hell, go out there and jump in the water and save it.
Yeah.
Now you're getting shocked.
Right.
So now instead of one person getting shocked, second person's getting shocked. And maybe that's what happened next door to me. I don't know. Nobody knows because there was no cameras. Nobody knows. Okay. So now you're required to have you're required to have GFCI protection on everything, and you're required to have a safety disconnect switch at the beginning of the dock. Okay. Where if you see your kid at the end of the dock, in trouble,
Yeah.
you go over to that thing and you hit it, and it shuts all the power off.
And it stops it from the current.
Correct. It stops the voltage from going.
I never
into the
knew
water.
that. And you know what's funny? My cousin, Claude David, that lives in Florida, he's got a personal dock.
He's got a private dock.
Yeah, he got a private dock.
Yeah.
And if you look at the houses around him, they all got private docks.
How many of them get inspected constantly?
I don't think so. I don't think any of them. I don't know. I
They
never
don't.
asked them.
Well, how many of these pools that we were talking about just now, the homeowners inspect them?
I know-
My
I don't even
my
think so.
one customer hasn't had it, repaired or upgraded in since the 80s. What's that? I've been doing it 42 years, so 40 years.
I never. Did you know that about
No.
the docks?
No. We're learning a lot tonight, man.
Matty, I never knew that.
Big shout out to AG initials on TikTok. She said he's the greatest electrician. We got a bunch of people on TikTok.
Awesome, thank you. I do want to give another shout out to my good friend Giuseppe Di Bartolomeo. He is the owner of Home Run Electric and Home Run Generators. I buy all my generators from him. So if you contact me to install a standby generator system, natural gas in your house, I buy it from him, I install it, and then he comes in and starts it up and gives you a warranty and everything on it.
Nice.
Joe is the executive secretary for the Nassau Electric League. He became executive secretary when I became president. Joe and I changed a lot of things with the NEL. We brought a lot of awareness, like what we're talking about, with pools, with unlicensed contractors. Because of the major code change that we had, I told you we were under 2017 for the past 6 years. So we had a major code change this year in 23. So we have a couple of schools that we're partnered up with. One is Electrical Training Center out of Colpeg here in Long Island. Sal Ferrara is the principal owner, and he has a group of guys that work for him. One of them is John Anthony, which is his nephew. That he's a great friend of our organization, and he always comes down and talks to us. Another one is Ray Lopez. He runs an electrical training class out of Manhattan, out of New York City. This guy is an encyclopedia on code. You could ask him something, he could tell you, oh, it's on page 300, it's article 250.c, subsection 4. Like, how the hell you know that? It's like he could memorize anything. So we had him come in for our November. We have meetings once a month. It's open to any licensed electrician that whether you have a business or not. If you're a licensed electrician, you could become a member of the Nassau Electric League. And one of the perks is that we have meetings once a month. It's the second Wednesday of every month at the Knights of Columbus on Heights Avenue or Heights Street in Hicksville, right by the train station there. Yeah. And Ray came in and did a code class for us in November. We generally have between like 35 to 50 guys at our meetings. That meeting we had about 125 members, and at that meeting we got 8 new guys to sign up and join up. At our January meeting, we invited them back, and we had another great showing. And because people need to learn about this,
people care too.
They need to. Yeah, the guys that are in that room, those are all the guys that I would recommend for you or your friends to hire.
They care
because they're up on the code and they know what they're doing.
Chad McKay wants to know if you go to Connecticut. He wants he needs a generator.
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I'm not licensed there. I stay within where I'm licensed.
Okay.
Nassau, Suffolk counties. But I'm sure if he looked in the phone book or online, he could find a competent licensed contractor in his area.
You know what I wanted to ask you, Matty? So during Sandy, and you know how bad Sandy was. You know how bad Sandy was, right? And, of course, we were working 24/7 because all the trees coming down and stuff. But you know what I saw? And I was a little like, I said to myself, how is that possible? People using generators that were outside and they ran cords to it. And it was pouring. Windy, pouring. Do you recommend that?
For a temporary basis, like you want to keep your heat going maybe, or
But outside with the rain and everything?
Well, you can't put it inside. You're going to die from carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe you put a cover on it or something like that. But a lot of the newer generators, I know I have a little standby generator, portable one. Not a standby, I'm sorry. It's a portable generator. It has GFCI protection built into it. So any cord you plug into it, they're already protected. If it's an older one and doesn't have it, that might be a little dangerous. What you're talking
so
about.
How did they protect it if it's an older one? Put an umbrella over it. So you know what I mean?
Put like a little lean-to or something.
Because you're correct. You can't put it in the garage. You can't because you'll die by carbon monoxide. But I saw so many generators outside, and they were running cords. I mean, I know those cords are also protected too because they're wrapped in that plastic.
Well, they're rubberized.
Yeah,
cord.
rubberized. Right.
Again, what kind of cord is it, Ralph?
I don't know.
Is it the cheap $15
I
cord
I
you're
didn't.
buying at a local hardware store at Home Depot. That's a 16 gauge wire,
Right.
and now you're plugging in, a refrigerator, a TV, a light, this and that. 16 gauge, you can't draw much power on it.
Right.
If you're going to do something like that, you have to buy a heavy duty extension cord with at least a number 12 gauge wire built into it. You're going to spend $100 on a 25 or 50-foot cord.
But that's for your own safety.
Exactly, but people don't look at that. We're consumers. We go to the store and you see $100.
We got a phone call.
You see $100 cord or a $20
Yeah.
cord. Which one you going to buy?
I'm going to buy the one that's
Welcome
safe.
to Jane Rouse House. Who's this?
Hey, it's Chad. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Chad,
Chad
what's up?
McCade. What's up?
What's going on, fellas?
By the
I
way,
have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
So my first question is how I came in a little late to the conversation because I was coming in from the dentist. I had to take the missus to the dentist to have a cavity taken care of. So I missed the conversation about how are these pools getting electrified?
Hi, Chad. It's Matteo.
Nice to meet you.
Same here. So a couple things could happen.
Okay.
Faulty wiring in the equipment. Okay,
Gotcha.
that's not protected properly by the proper GFCI protection, or
Okay.
it could be a stray current coming from somewhere else. So the development I live in is a RUD area. It's a residential underground development. So
Okay.
all of PSE&G's transformers are below grade. Okay.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
what if that wire at that transformer has a little nick in it, or the insulation was compromised over the last 50 years after it was installed? Stray voltages or stray currents can go through the earth. Okay. If your pool is in a close proximity to that, you could have a stray voltage in that area.
Understood. The reason I was asking is because we're thinking about getting a pool in the yard, and I just want to make sure that it's safe, that that kind of thing doesn't happen, because that is a safety measure, that somebody could have a pool, and like you said, that you could see them outside, and it could happen to an adult too. They jump in the pool, they don't know that there's a current there, and next thing you know, they're getting electrocuted basically.
100% right. So if you're looking to get a pool, now you're in
Yeah,
luck.
we're thinking about a half in, half out. We're not
All right.
thinking about
Well,
a full in. We're not thinking about a full out.
As long as you take out permits and it's done properly and you call a licensed contractor, it will be done correctly with all the new codes that were just updated as of January of this year. So as long as that bonding grid is installed correctly, the chances of you getting shocked are probably zero.
Are these codes now nationwide, or are they?
Yeah.
Connecticut?
This is the National Electrical Code, not just for New York. New York just adopted the 2023 National Electrical Code. There's actually a 2026 Electrical Code, but New York State, Albany, they decide what they want to do when they do it.
And that leads me to the next question, because I had this conversation and had this argument with my girlfriend's brother-in-law, who is an electrician, or says he's an electrician. I guess he's licensed. He does electrical work for places. And one day he came to our house to replace some outlets, and the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So he claims, and I don't know if he's right, but all the years I've seen electrical outlets done, usually on your three-prong outlets, the bottom prong is that middle prong. He claims now that according to code, it's supposed to be flipped and be up top. Is that true?
No. That's a aesthetic thing. Most commercial applications, like if you go into hospitals, you'll always see the ground prong facing up. But in the work that we do in resi work, and even when I do a bunch of medical work too for some doctors' offices and stuff, we always put the ground facing down. There's no code that says it has to go up.
That's what I knew, that it was facing down, and he was claiming, the new code says it has to face up, and I'm like, I don't think so, because if you notice, a lot of the electrical wires that you buy in the store, like the extension cords for like your refrigerators and that, the way that they're made, the ground prong is on the bottom because then the cord comes out by the ground prong, and if you flip it upside down, you got that wire like looping and hanging in the air. It's kind of like a weird setup.
Yeah, and then
you know what I mean.
you're creating a pinch point that the cord could get compromised over years of usage.
Exactly.
So, is your friend a union electrician?
Well, I don't know. He was. I guess he was. I mean.
All right.
Assuming.
So, if he was, he did a lot of commercial work, and that's all they do. So that's why he probably said that.
Gotcha. Okay. So he probably thought that was the case because of that situation. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, Chad McKay. Chad is he's my brother, and also he's the engineer for the station. He's an IT tech. He does websites and everything.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I do all their.
And when you and when you gonna have a pool party?
As soon as you get the skinny
As soon as we get it put in.
Oh, Judge Master J said he's gonna go skinny dipping.
Yeah.
No, that's what I asked. I asked if Joe Gallo was going skinny dipping in that pool that was getting electrocuted.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You know, that might have been how he lost the rest of his hair, Joe.
Oh boy,
Oh,
he
God.
ain't gonna like that. I tell you that much. He ain't gonna like that.
No, but nobody knows. Like everybody thinks, just put a pool in and that's it. There's not.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was
what it
listening,
takes.
and I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. I would have never thought of that until I heard you guys talking about it. So you guys are doing a great job. With
Thank
the
you,
show,
Chad.
and-
See, Matty, what you just said.
See?
What you just said.
Another thing I want to point out. If you have a licensed electrician that's been working for you for years, all right, and now you're going to install your pool in your backyard, don't assume that he knows how to wire a pool. Not all guys know how to wire pools. Not all electricians
Gotcha.
know how to wire a boiler. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, boilers are very, sometimes they can be complicated
Oh,
with
really?
the controls and everything. Not a lot of electricians know how to do that.
Bob.
So should I trust the same electrician that does the pool to, like, I want to put, like, in my backyard by the right side, I want to put a fire pit, but I want to have some electrical run to the end caps to put, like, night lights out there on them. So would the same electrician who did a pool be able to do that kind of work as well?
100%. He'd be very good at it because he does a lot of underground work. So he'll be able to prep the area with wiring and conduits, to your outdoor lighting that you want.
You get what I'm
installed.
saying? Like one of those little like round fire pit areas where they put like on the both ends where you walk in, they put like two little lamp posts kind of thing.
Yeah, but now there are certain requirements. You can't have any electrical or lighting within 5 feet of the edge of the pool. We have a lot of requirements that we have to meet. So, you can't.
So now people who are putting lighting around the deck on the pool might be in violation of that. In other words,
If it's within 5 feet, unless it's a low voltage lighting system, there are certain low voltage lighting systems that are can be closer
like
than
solar
5 feet.
lighting or that kind of stuff. They should be okay, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of rules and regulations. You're not supposed to have any wiring within 5 feet of the pool that's not associated with the pool. So, like in the trench that you're doing your pool lights, you can't run a feeder out to a shed. No, it's got to be away from it. It's got to be
even in the trench. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the right person, Chad.
Yeah. So
Now I know this. I didn't know it before.
There's a laundry list of requirements when it comes to pool.
Now, Danny, what was the website that you told us that? Is there a website that have all these requirements, or is there any way he could go?
No, because it's all things that us, licensed contractors know.
Oh, okay.
If you do want to learn a little bit something about pools, and you got nothing to do on the weekend, MikeHolt.com. He is a professional. He's a code expert. He has a lot of videos on pools and bonding and grounding. He even has a video that he does under a controlled environment with safety measures in place, where the pool is bonded with everything that I described, with the equal potential bonding system in place 100%. He goes into the pool with his bathing suit. He takes an extension cord and drops it in the pool, and that water is 120 volts.
Why would he do that? Why would he do something like that?
To show that if the pool is bonded correctly, he's not
Oh,
going
you're
to
not
get
getting
shocked.
electrocuted. Okay.
Okay, because what that equal potential bonding grid does, okay, is it makes all the parts of the pool, not only the metal parts, I forgot to say before, the water also. We have to bond the water.
Shock it. Well, that shock is different. That's different.
No. We have to bond the water.
So
Okay.
it basically becomes a ground.
Oh, wow.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so the water, the handrail, the decking around the pool,
Jeez.
all the pool equipment have the same potential to ground. So now, if you drop an extension cord in there,
Not
the
the
water's 120 volts, the deck is 120 volts, the handrail's 120 volts. So you're not going to get shocked. Now, let's say that pool light that went into the pool water, okay, has 120 volts going into it. But the handrail, wait, am I saying this the right way? Yes. The water is not bonded correctly, okay? The handrail is bonded, okay? So now the pool light introduces voltage into the pool. You go to get out. You go to grab the handrail. You just became the path that electricity wants to go
Yeah,
back
you just
to the
became
source.
The ground, basically.
Yeah, that-
Correct.
That's-
You became the ground, so that's where the shock hazards occur.
That's what a lot of people don't understand about lightning. You know, you're outside. When the lightning hits you, you're the closest path to the ground. So that's why you get electrocuted, because it's going through you and using you as the ground, basically.
Correct. I saw a video one time. It was in a public pool, and a girl was getting out of the pool, and as she was getting out, she reached for the handrail, and she got stuck to it, and her body was shaking. Somebody saw her and went and knocked her off of it, what we were talking about
Yeah,
before.
yep.
If you ever see somebody getting shocked, never touch them. You got to knock them off of whatever they're touching at the moment, because your muscles tighten up.
Just letting people know what's safe to use to knock them off. Would you use like a stick, or how would you?
Yeah,
If you use
anything.
your hands, you're touching
No,
them,
no,
you
you
know
don't
what
want to
I'm
use your hand. You know, you could,
Foot, your leg,
lower your shoulder down, like your alignment, and knock them off.
Or if you have a rubber sneaker on, you could
Yeah, you could kick them
Kick
out,
'em
of the way, but
way.
you don't want to grab them. You could, maybe hit them with your elbow or something like that. As long as you don't grab them, your muscles won't tighten up, and you won't become part of that circuit.
That's
Wow.
crazy. That is insane.
Yeah,
That's
so-
no joke.
Well, let us know when you put the pool in, Chad, because we're all coming over.
Yeah,
Just make sure that Joe Gallo has a bathing suit on.
that's it.
I don't want to scare my neighbors. I don't want to scare my neighbors.
Poor Joe.
Poor Joe's not here to defend himself.
That's all right.
He's
He'll
probably
hear it.
listening in.
Probably listening.
He's
anyway.
listening in.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like that freaking Chad. Wait till I talk to him.
Yep. You're done.
Fix his little
You're
ass.
done.
I'll just give him some gravy. He'll be all right.
There you
Yes,
go.
that's it.
There you go. See, I
That's
love
it.
Chad. Thank you,
Be
Chad.
okay.
Nah, but
No, but what I wanted to say in closing before I let you guys go, you guys are doing a great service to the community, man, running this podcast, because this is a lot of valuable information that people need to know.
Thank you, Chad.
And if you guys weren't putting out that information, a lot of people might not know about that. I
No.
didn't know about this stuff with pools till I heard it just now. And
No.
neither, so
Appreciate it.
Wow.
it's education, and you guys are doing a great job, and I just wanted to compliment
Thank you,
Thank
Chad.
you, thank you, Chad. And thanks to you too. We got
Right,
the
guys.
station up and running, and
Yep.
we're doing great with the station. The cameras look
No, I
good.
appreciate
Everything's
you
going
guys.
good.
How much time we got?
All right.
Don't worry about
I'll
it.
hop off so
Okay.
somebody
We can
else
stay
can call
here
you
as long
guys
as
if
we
they
want.
want to.
No,
You
'cause
guys have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, I just got one.
And thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
You're
Chad.
welcome. Good luck
Mickey-
with your pool system.
Mickey
Endeavor.
just said, does he specialize in residential or commercial?
I do both. We do everything.
okay.
I've been doing this 42 years. I've done everything from a hi hat to an MRI machine.
That's what I need, MRI. I need one right now, I tell you that
I've
much.
done it all. I constantly educate myself. I've been doing this 42 years, and I still don't know everything there is to know about electric. But what I do know, I'm good at.
Damn right.
And I make sure that I stay educated. My guys, I'm constantly teaching them things that I'm learning and sending them videos and stuff like that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was about a year or two after this incident happened, next door to me, with the electrocution, I was trying to figure out a way to, help people and, stop this from ever happening again. One of the things I was thinking of doing was creating some type of legislation where it would be required for a homeowner to have their pool have a safety check done. Whether it was every 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I don't know. I don't know what that number is yet. We got to figure that out. Okay, so
I would say every year.
I don't know if we have to go that far
Yeah.
because think about it. If I come to your house
Because
this year,
we do
and
have harsh winters.
okay, but if I come to your house this year and I upgrade your pool with all GFCIs and
Right.
proper cord and bonding and everything like that, what's really going to go bad next year? Maybe the pool guy doesn't connect that bond wire, but once I educate you, the homeowner, on it, you're going to look for it. Once I educate you, the homeowner, to push that test button on the GFCI, you're going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, it's something that I was thinking about doing even after I went back to that pool that we did 40 years ago when I worked with Covino Electric that the guy never did anything with. That's a prime candidate for a pool safety inspection, okay? So everybody knows Grady Farning, right? He's a city council member. He's a good friend of mine, and I was talking to him about it, so he was helping me out. I actually went down and spoke in front of the mayor and the city council about it. There were some people that were for us, some opposition and everything, because what's going to happen now? City council is going to say, hey, Mr. Pool owner, you have to have a safety inspection every X amount of years, and you got to hire a qualified electrician to do that. Well, it's going to cost you money, right?
But it's for your own safety.
I know, Ralph, but people don't understand that. Okay, people can't get around of the city of Glen Cove telling them that they have to spend money.
Right.
Oh, I pay enough taxes.
Yeah,
right?
I understand.
But let me ask you something. Do you have a sprinkler system?
Yes.
I have a sprinkler system.
Yeah.
I have to pay a plumber every year or a sprinkler guy every year to do the double check valve.
Yeah, he
test.
comes. He comes all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, let me ask you something. We always have to have the sprinkler check valve inspected, and I got to pay for that. Why can't this be the same? And then you know what I heard? Well, that's the water, and they provide the water, so they have to make sure their water's safe. I'm like, so wait a minute. They're not going to get electrocuted and die from drinking water. Maybe it's gonna taste nasty.
Yeah,
or
right.
something happens, but you're talking about a safety issue. You're talking about a potential shock hazard that, God forbid, a family member gets shocked because you didn't want to pay a couple $100 or whatever it is to have your pool checked out or brought up to code. How are you going to feel?
So where is it now? Is it stagnant?
It's in limbo now because
is?
I'm going to be honest with you. What happened was I became the president of the National Electric League, and a lot of my time went towards that. So I kind of put it on the back burner. But now that I'm not the president no more, I'm going to have a little more time. I want to reach out. But I was talking to a few people that are in politics. I think I got to go higher. I think I got to go to county legislators or somebody higher where it could be brought to a bigger level. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna, maybe
I know some people,
reach out to Chuck Levine.
I know him. I know him personally.
I did work in Chuck Levine's house years ago. He's a good friend.
I know some. I know
love him.
some politicians that can help you.
So I might reach out to them and pitch what I have to say, and then bring my guys in from the National Electric League, or I have some very good friends that are electrical
But
inspectors.
is money that valuable for your safety?
You see what
Ralph,
Chad wrote?
No.
I would spend thousands of dollars to upgrade to make it safe for my family.
Yeah. See, Chad says I'd rather pay for that inspection or risking a loved one. Yeah. He's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand taxes and stuff, but Matty, you God forbid you have a family member that gets electrocuted because of your stupidity of not doing the inspection. because if you want to save a couple of dollars.
Ralph, you're 100% right, and try to tell that to the homeowner that thinks you're trying to make money off of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But it's not all about the money; it's about the safety. People have to realize, and the stuff that you've been talking tonight, and even Chad said it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't know this.
No, the average homeowner is not going to notice, and it's not their fault. They shouldn't know.
It's not their fault.
They shouldn't know this. They know they're going to go turn on the switch. The light's going to work.
But any amount of money is worth saving. I mean, I wish we could bring those people back that were electrocuted. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think the town, the city of Glen Cove, has to do a better job, maybe, sending out these flyers more frequently. Because what happens when you get mail, junk mail?
They throw it in the garbage.
You throw it in the garbage. You don't even do it.
Well,
you don't even read
I'll be honest with you. I throw out the politician ones.
Yeah. But how about like a public safety announcement from News 12 or Channel 5 or, the local channels that everybody watches? Channel
I think
2,
you
4,
need to push
5,
for this.
Channel 11.
You need to push for this.
Another story I want to tell you, okay? You have smoke and CO detectors in your house?
Yes.
Are they all working?
Yes.
When was the last time you changed the batteries?
No, I bought brand new ones.
There you go. You bought the 10-year lithium-ion batteries.
Yep.
That's what you should have in your house. So I'm going to tell you a story. Probably about 7-8 years ago, we're doing a master bedroom addition to this couple's house on the second floor. So they had like a family room bump out on the first floor that had nothing above it. So they wanted to expand their master bedroom, right? So the architect included a smoke detector in the bedroom and a smoke CO in the hallway, which is required by code. But those are the only two he drew. So when I go in there, what do? I look in the other bedrooms. He had 3 other bedrooms. So I said to the homeowner, I said, to bring your house up to code, I said I need to install smoke detectors in every bedroom and put a smoke CO detector on the first floor and the basement also. And then they all get hardwired in together. Why do I need to do that? I said, well, it's safety. It's for your safety. God forbid there's a fire. God forbid there's a carbon monoxide event in your house, in the basement. How are you going to know about it? I said, everything, goes off. He goes, well, I don't see any need to do that. So I got a little antsy with him. I was like, are you going to put a price on your kid's head? He goes, how dare you say that to me? I said, well, how dare you say that to me, that you don't want to upgrade your fire and carbon monoxide detection system because of a few extra dollars? I'm not trying to upsell you. I will gladly put in what the architect has on the plan, but I'm telling you that's not right. And for your family's safety, this is what you should do. Ultimately, we ended up doing the job for him, but I got opposition.
Yeah.
He should have said, Matt, oh my God, I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
the architect
right.
didn't tell me about it. Please do it. My family's safety is the utmost importance to me. But he gave me opposition. He thought I was trying to upsell him. That's not an upsell. You know what an upsell is to me, to you? Hey, you need to install 20 hi-hats in your house.
Yeah, right.
That's an upsell.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to put a dimmer on every switch in your house. That's an upsell, not a fire and smoke detectors.
My family is, God forbid anything happens to them, but every room in my house, except for bathrooms, has fire and CO detectors.
Yeah.
Every single room. I got 3 levels. I got a basement, first floor, and second floor. Mm-hmm. The basement has it. You go up, the kitchen and the living room. You go up, all the 3 bedrooms have it. And I changed them out. Every single one I changed out.
The hallway outside the bedrooms have
got that. Got the hallway.
So if you have a hallway that's longer than 15 feet, okay, you got to have 2 smoke CO detectors, okay? Because within 15 feet of the bedroom door, you have to have a device, okay? So if you have a device that's, I want to say, older than 10 years old, throw it out and buy a new one, because the older units were only good for 5 years. You know how many houses we go into and we look at the unit and they're yellow? We open them up. There's a date code on them. The date code is like 20, 25 years old. Yeah, and the thing is that people don't know because it's out of sight, out of mind. So the new ones that they make all have a 10-year lithium-ion
Yes.
battery.
Yep.
Once you activate it,
the battery.
it starts.
Yep.
Now, listen, if you get 10 years out of it, it's good. I've had them where 8 years, 9 years.
I got like 5-6 years out of it.
Yeah, so you know what?
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's why I
so,
changed them.
So when you see that end of life, throw it out. You get a new one.
That's what I did.
Now, what we're required to do as electricians, we have to install a hardwired with a battery backup. In the event there's a power failure, you want the battery backup, right? So we have to install a hardwired system, and what we do is we run a 3-wire conductor in between every smoke and CO detector. One of the wires is a communication wire. So God forbid in your basement there's an event, smoke or CO. Every device in your house, in your bedroom that you have a closed door. I'm a heavy sleeper, right? If that smoke detector went off in the basement, I would never hear it because I'm up on the second floor in my bedroom with the closed door. Now, the one in the bedroom, the one in the hallway, the one in all my kids' rooms are all going to go off. It's going to alert us, hey, something's going on here before it reaches the second floor. So it's very important that you have smoke and carbon monoxide detectors working properly, up to date. If you're not sure of the year of them, you could unscrew it on the back. There's a date code. If you're still unsure, throw them out, buy a new one, couple $100, you outfit your whole house, you're good.
And my neighbor had an incident a couple of months ago where the fire department went there and because his CO alarm, I guess, activated in the fire department. He went to
So he has central station monitoring. That's also a good thing.
So
I have that too in my house.
He didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
But there was high levels of CO in his house.
Yeah.
But it went to the fire department.
Yeah, so when we first moved into our house, we had an old boiler in there, gas fired. It was made by Sears. And in the fall, when the atmospheric pressure, this is what I was told by the chief of the fire department at the time, Vinny Martinez.
Yes.
Great friend of mine. He lives around the corner. He was the first one at my house, 5 a.m.
Oh, really?
Matt, get everybody out of the house.
Yeah.
We're knocking on Ann and Pete's house and bringing the kids over there in their pajamas, right? So in the fall, when the atmospheric pressure is cool and your boiler kicks on early in the morning to warm the house up, if that chimney is not hot, right, the atmospheric pressure pushes down on it, and the carbon monoxide, the smoke, comes back into your house. Well, that's what happened.
Oh, is that right?
That's what happened in my house. Vinny explained the whole thing to me. I was like, how could this happen? I had Grazios Plumbing in there, good friends of mine, Rob and Mike Grazios, that great plumbing company out of Locust Valley. They came in. They took the whole thing apart, cleaned it out. I was like, Matt, there's no obstructions. Everything's fine here. It happened another time. After that, we ripped the boiler out. We put a wall-hung boiler. Never had a problem since.
It was the boiler?
It was the boiler because it wasn't... then I had a chimney liner put in. We thought it was that. It happened after that. So I'm like, you know what? I had enough. After 2 times the fire department coming to my house, because the same thing, I had, besides my hardwired system, I have a fire... an alarm system with the fire alarm and CO detection. So once Central Station gets a CO alarm, they automatically dispatch the fire department. Whether you tell them, oh, no, there's no problem here, we have to call them because now it's a liability issue. Because carbon monoxide you can't smell.
No.
Right?
People don't realize
it's odorless and, a visual, you can't see it. So they come in. As soon as Vinny walked in with this monitoring thing, he's like, Matt, you're at like 50 parts per million or whatever it was. I forgot how many parts per million. He's like, where's your family? I said, they're up there sleeping. He goes, get them out of the house. I said, Kat, call Antoinette right away. We got to bring the kids over there. 5 o'clock in the morning, we're waking her up and bringing them over.
But I think it happened a few months ago where that the father and the son died in the in the basement apartment.
Oh yeah,
because they didn't have any alarms. They died there.
Yeah.
It was I think it was CO, right, John?
Yeah. There was unfortunately, it was an Indian family a few years ago. I don't know if you guys remember, in Roslyn.
Yeah.
The father was a doctor.
Oh yeah, I remember
the
that.
kids, the wife, and the mother and father. He came home. They were all dead from carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yep, it's not a joke. It's not a joke.
Yeah. What else do I have here on my cards? Talked about that.
You're having a good time, right?
Yeah, listen, I love talking about electrical and safety.
Why don't you should become a teacher? You ever think about that?
I've thought about that. I thought about becoming an inspector. I've thought about doing a lot of things, but I love doing what I do.
You love your business. You got a great business.
Yeah, and I got 4 great guys that work for me. Elmer's been with me almost 30 years. Hector's been with me almost 20 years. So these guys are seasoned. They know what they're doing. I trust them with everything. I had a bad bout of COVID in 21. I was home for a week. I was in the hospital in ICU for 11 days. I didn't know if I was coming out. Elmer ran my business while I was out. I owe that man everything.
We have a question for you, man.
He's my right-hand man.
What's the most common electrical issue that you see? What's the most common?
Loose wiring in homes, in outlets, in switches. A lot of the older homes, what they used to do was called backstabbing the wire, the outlets. So if you ever look at an electrical outlet, it has 4 screws, two on the neutral side, 2 on the hot side, and it also has 4 holes. So a quick and simple way to do it is you strip your wire and you just push it in. And all there is a little metal clip in there that puts pressure on it. Well, over time, because of the load that is downstream of the outlets, that connection gets loose. It heats up, cools down, heats up, cools down. Well, you know what happens to metal when it heats up and cools down? It gets very fragile.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll start to arc. I should have bought some show and tell stuff. I saved them. I got outlets in my shop that are completely burnt up. Okay, GFIs that when they have a failure, they end up burning up and smoking out. We were talking about surges during a power outage. Years ago, there was a bad storm that came through Glen Cove. Trees down everywhere. Power went out. When the power came on, this woman smelled smoke in her house. She called the fire department. They saw what it was. They said, call the electrician. She called me. I ran there right away. She had 2 GFIs that completely burnt out. There must have been a surge, and the GFIs, because they have electronics in it, they actually have little circuitry in there. It took the hit, and it caught fire. The outlet. So the box was melted, the wiring was melted. So I made it safe for the night, and then the next day we went there. We had to open the wall and fix it all up.
So that's the most common one.
Yeah, that and homeowners trying to do their own electrical work and not doing it right.
I got another question for you.
Go ahead.
What electrical upgrade adds the most value to your home?
What electrical upgrade
Your,
adds the most value?
That's Chad.
why am I
Oh,
getting
That's me. I had some questions.
your service upgrade?
yeah.
Upgrading your service.
It says, what electrical upgrades add the most value to a home?
Upgrading your electrical service.
Okay.
To a lot of houses either have a 100 or 150 amp.
Okay.
Upgrading it to a 200 amp service. Now, another code fact. I'm throwing a lot of code at you guys tonight.
That's fine.
As of January 2023, we are now required, whenever we do a service change or a new service to a house, is to install a means of disconnect at the meter. So what does that mean?
What does that mean?
You have a meter outside, right? You have to have a safety switch, or you have to have what's called a meter main combination. And what that's for is the firemen, before they enter your house, they shut it off.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Or if there's a problem and you're not inside your house, from outside, you could safely shut the electric off to your house. So we're required by code to install either a safety switch or a meter main outside your house at the meter equipment, and it has to be labeled service disconnect.
Chad, what's up?
So it's funny you brought up that arcing thing, because we had that like 2 years after we moved in. We're sitting in the house, and all of a sudden, my wife comes outside. I was outside mowing the lawn, and my wife comes outside, and she goes, "The lights on half the house are not working."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, half the house? What do you mean? How is that possible, half the house? So what I found out is that after having our electrician come over, one of the guys that we found locally to us, that he went in the ceiling, he went in all the outlets, he pulled everything open to look. Come to find out that the outlet behind our bathroom wall in our bedroom had that situation. He opened up the outlet, and the wire was loose from whoever installed it, and the wire was arcing behind the wall.
Wow. Wow.
So had that not arced and caused a short, we could have had a fire in the house and would have never even known it. But fortunately, it arced, and we were alerted to it, and we were able to do something about it before it actually was, catching fire. So I actually have a video of it on my Facebook page when the guy was here doing it. It's actually crazy.
So,
The guy, so that is a very popular thing, like you said, and we've experienced that. So that's what made me call back in. I was like, wow, that's funny. He mentions that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I was talking about GFCI and AFCI protection, if you had an AFCI circuit breaker in your panel, it would have detected that and it would have tripped.
Oh, wow.
So in my neighborhood, okay, up off of Hitching Post over there, that was built by Levitt between 68 and 72, okay, Levitt and Sons. Popular wiring method back then to save money was not use copper, was using aluminum or aluminum copper clad. Okay, a lot of my house had copper clad wiring in it. Anytime I did a renovation, bathroom, kitchen, I gutted it and I rewired it. Okay, where it stayed, you use special wire nuts with a special solution, and you pigtail them to copper before you put it onto your device. So what Levitt did, because he built, I don't know how many, couple of hundred homes, how are you going to save money? Hey, I'm going to hire an electrician, but I'm only going to give you X amount per device.
Right.
So electrician needs to make time, right? So they did that wonderful backstabbing method that I was mentioning before. Instead of looping the wire under the screw
into the hole. Yep.
Right. Instead of looping the wire under the screw and tightening it and making a solid connection, they backwired it. So my first service call I got up in my neighborhood, it took me about 3.5 hours to find why 3 of the bedrooms weren't working. I took apart.
Backstabbing is dangerous, and my question is why do they make outlets that allow that?
Because manufacturers do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong that they do it. I'm saying, why do they allow it? Why does the code allow them? The government that monitors that allow them to do that. If it's a safety issue, they should not allow that.
Yeah, I don't know, but a good electrician.
Make that a law that you can't do that, and that's it.
A good electrician will never do that. They'll always put it under the loop. So, like I said, it took me about 3-4 hours to find it, because what you got to do is you got to take apart everything, and of course it's never the first or second outlet you take apart; it's the last outlet on the loop.
Yeah, that's what he did.
But you don't know.
It took him 4.5 hours to find which outlet it was that was the problem.
Yeah, because you don't know how the circuit is run. You don't have X-ray vision, so.
And you know what was weird? The only thing that made him find it was I went to the basement and I was looking up, because under our basement we don't have ceilings on the basement, so we see where all the wires come up through the floor to go upstairs.
That helps.
And I was looking at the wire, and I said, "Wait a minute!" I said, "Here's the main wire, because they wired our generator only to the circuits, and they linked all the circuits together that would be required to run the generator on this one main line." So I'm looking at this and I'm going, wait a minute, this wire comes up into our bedroom, and sure enough, he opens the bedroom outlet and there's the short.
There you go. You couldn't have seen that 3 hours before?
Yeah, exactly.
So on my second service call in the neighborhood, right, customer calls me, "Hey, Matt, a couple of bedrooms upstairs, outlets are out, lights aren't working." So now I'm like, okay, now I know what the problem is. So what I do, I go to every outlet and I bang on the wall, right? I turn on all the lights and everything. I bang on the wall. And when I bang on the one that has the loose connection, the lights start flickering. I'm like, here it is. So I find it within like a half hour, and I repair it, and that's it. But then I recommend to them, listen, this is the way it is. You should hire us to come back and pigtail all your outlets. Some of them do, some of them don't. They take a chance,
I got one more question for you.
Sure.
And then John, before you do that, then John, he would know. My old house in the Bronx where we used to live, believe it or not, that house was so old, since 19-something. They had paper-wrapped wiring from that time in the walls. So imagine how unsafe that is.
Yeah, some of the old wiring methods are very dangerous. I don't know if you guys know what knob and tube wiring is. It was a method when electricity, like over 100 years ago, and there are some parts of Seacliff and the North Shore here that still have it active. And what they did was it was a cloth-covered wire that looked maybe about the size of a pencil, and it was run on one side of a stud in a bay, the hot wire, and the neutral was run on the other side. And they were on standoffs, on porcelain standoffs. Those were the knobs. The tubes were drilled into the beams, and the wires went through the porcelain tubes. So they never made contact with the wood. But that was at a time where you just had like a little wall sconce on the wall with a little turn switch and maybe an outlet underneath it, and that is it.
Yep.
Wow.
So
that's what we had.
Yeah, that's actually.
We had also the wire. We had the paper wiring, which was crazy. It was just like copper wire wrapped with like paper.
Yeah. So if you do any renovations to your house, be smart. Like if you're going to do a kitchen or a bathroom, gut it out. Remove all the sheetrock, rewire it, upgrade your plumbing, put new valves in, make it all new so you have a peace of mind.
That makes sense.
There you go, Chad.
No, always.
All right, I'll let
do
you
it
guys
that way.
answer the other question.
Yep. One more question. You ready, Maddie?
Sure.
How can we reach M. Gaudio Electric?
Oh boy.
That's what it said.
I know, but that's not why I came on here. You know, I don't want to get a million phone calls tomorrow because we're busy. You know,
They want to get your autograph.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Listen, I'm on Instagram, but you know, I really don't want to give out my number here.
That's
you know,
fine.
If people know you personally,
Yeah.
you want to give them my number, do that. But that's not what I came out here for today. Not
No, I know
not
you-
to generate business.
No.
If I helped a guy like Chad today and educated him, and he's going to keep his family safe because of it, I accomplished something.
So
and
n-
I'm happy.
So now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Whoever wants Maddie's number privately and they need work done, inbox us and we'll give you the
Yeah,
number.
we'll do. How's that, Maddie? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, ready, Maddie?
Yeah.
Sauce or gravy?
That's the biggest question of
All
the
right.
night.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
When you grab a tomato from your father's garden and you crush it, what do you see?
A crushed tomato.
No. What comes out of the tomato?
The pulp.
It's called sauce.
So, Maddie,
Thank you.
Maddie.
Called sauce.
when you're Maddie,
Thank you.
Maddie, when you're growing up with a Sicilian father and a Spanish mother, and your father says on a Sunday when we went to St. Rocco's in the morning, then we went to Jambruno's for the bread. We went home, and my father said, "We're having dinner on a Sunday at 2:00 in the afternoon. What are we having? We're having macaroni and gravy."
No.
That's what he said.
Okay.
That's
Ralph.
that's
Listen.
that's a dysfunctional household.
People that don't know me, I was born in Italy. Okay, I came here in '67. 2-year-old. I was a little boy. Okay, we came here legally. Okay, my father gained his citizenship because my grandfather was born in Brooklyn in 1900.
Wow.
Okay, and then ended up going. His family went back to Italy because Italians were being, treated.
Well, they were being
like
persecuted.
Garbage. So
Yeah.
my great grandfather took him back to Italy. Anyway, I come from a very Italian household. I got 2 sisters that live in Italy. Okay, we all call it sauce. All of my relatives call it sauce. Nobody calls it gravy.
Thank you.
I had the biggest argument in the St. Rocco's
Italian
sausage
gravy,
and pepper
right?
stand because a couple of the ladies wore that the apron that they bought out in the stand over
Yeah.
there. It's gravy, not sauce. I caused such a ruckus in there. I'm like, you guys aren't true Italians. I don't know where the hell you get this from. What
Thank
the hell's
you.
the matter with you?
Thank you.
But what am I going to do? You're talking about
Yeah, but if you were brought up that way and that's all you know, I'm not going to blame you, Ralph. But
listen.
it's not gravy; it's sauce. When you
Yes.
take a tomato, okay,
Sunday sauce.
my family, since I was a kid, we used to go out to the farm, get the tomatoes, and crush them and make sauce.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't make gravy; you
no,
make
but
sauce.
it's just like when I was growing up on the Spanish side, my mother called it platanos, but people call it plantains. No, it's platanos.
It depends. If you're Dominican, you say that. But if you're Spanish, you're Puerto Rican, you say one
Listen,
way.
I can't help it if my father was, that's the way he was. And Maddie, you know it, an Italian father.
Oh,
you
yeah.
you ain't gonna tell him no.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
What he says goes, man.
Yeah, but
you don't want to.
I call it. You know what? I don't care what I call it as long as it's good. That's all I care.
Yeah, as long as it's good. We have Sunday sauce all the time. Kathy makes the best sauce and the meatballs that anybody.
And you know what's funny? So Lisa has no Italian in her, and she makes unbelievable meatballs, unbelievable sauce or gravy, whatever you want to call it. She has no Italian in her, and she is just an unbelievable cook, and he knows it.
Oh yeah.
Because she made him some stuff. I'm like, I just found that out a couple of months ago.
Is it good, John?
Oh,
She
good,
makes a good
delicious,
sauce?
delicious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
So, Maddie, I really appreciate you coming in.
I
Yes,
appreciate you
yes.
guys having
Do you
me.
have anything else to educate us with?
I don't know. I was nervous I wasn't gonna remember what I wanted to talk about. So a couple of nights ago, I brought all my notes home, and I'm sitting at my kitchen table after dinner, and my daughter, she just finished college. She has all these index cards. I'm like, you got it. Yeah, I'm gonna hold them up so you guys can see them.
Yeah, the camera's right there.
Yeah. So I said, Allie, I need some index cards. I said I got to make some notes, to make sure I touch on all the subjects that I want to talk to people about. And when I ran into you that day, it was been on my mind for a while, but it was just the right time. I saw you that Sunday morning. I mentioned what I wanted to talk about. You're like, absolutely, come on, we'd love to have you. And I'm grateful that you guys have me, and maybe we could do this, next spring again.
Absolutely.
I could come on next spring.
Absolutely.
Talk about it again, and anytime.
But the best part about it is, Maddie, is that we're on YouTube and it gets repeated.
Yes.
Okay.
So people could watch it on YouTube, and because there's a lot of stuff I learned tonight. I mean, there's.
Oh no, 100%.
I mean, I didn't know half of the stuff you.
It's gonna be broadcast on YouTube. It's gonna be broadcast on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora.
You're gonna be all over the place.
Where else? Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcasts, TikTok.
TikTok is on TikTok right now.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
it's all over. It's
Any
all
shout
over.
outs on TikTok?
We got a lot here. I mean, we got a lot of people here.
But no, listen, and you know me for a long time. I was made to do this. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, you love to talk to people. You're I always said, when are you going to become the mayor?
Pretty soon. But I was made to do this, and when I met John and he introduced me to this, it was perfect timing, because I was working at another radio station, and I was wearing a cross on my shirt. The students didn't like it, and I said, you know what? Then I'm leaving, because if you don't believe in my faith, I'm leaving. So, and then John had a problem at the same station, and then we just put our heads together, and we came up with this. And everybody that we have on, a lot of people, they like it. And I was born to do this, just like you were born to do what you do. Exactly. And I'm telling you right now, Maddie, you're very well educated with this.
Thank you.
Very well educated.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just, I would say, you're lucky to have Kathy. I think Kathy's lucky to have you. You know what I mean?
I'm not lucky. I'm blessed,
I'm blessed
to have
okay.
Kathy, because Kathy is my right hand man. I couldn't have done in life what I am today without my wife.
Yeah. And you know what? I feel bad for Lisa too, because my wife, I drive her up the freaking wall. But I always say to her, I try to do the right thing, but now since I stepped down from the presidency of the union, I had to, because I have to spend a little more time with them. Just like the other day, my son and I went to the Yankee game.
That's beautiful.
It was great.
That's a memory he'll always cherish.
But now we're going to other games. I took him last year, and I took him to a Giants game. Well, he's a Ravens fan, but I took him to a game that the Ravens. So you have to make time for your family. That's the most important thing
in an Italian household. Family's number one, and God. Well, we're supposed. I said that the wrong way, because as a good Catholic, I'm supposed to say God's number one.
Yeah, right.
God forgive me, because my family is everything to me, and I do put them above everything.
Kathy grew up in a great, surroundings with us. You know, we all grew up together, and I know the way she is. She's tough. She's a tough
Oh,
woman.
yeah.
Right, John?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, very tough. Very
Tough.
tough.
People always say, "Oh, you're lucky, you know, your kids this," and I said, "No, we're not lucky. We're blessed."
Yeah.
Okay, and it didn't come with a lot of, you know, sacrifice, hard work, and sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
Kathy was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. You know, the burden was on me, and we struggled for a long time. You know, paying bills and rent and everything because you know I just had one income. She only started working in the school district when Allie was in middle school because I got time now. What do I do? You know, my
Right,
kids
right.
don't need me anymore.
Right.
The boys are older. You know, Allie's in middle school, so she got a part-time job at the school, which I think is great for any mom with little kids because now they're home on the holidays. They're home in the summertime when the kids are off. So, you know.
Yeah,
it's
that's
a-
what I
it's a
say the
good
same
deal.
thing to Lisa. Lisa's like, you know, maybe I should get a part-time job in the summer. No. You work your 10 months.
Yeah.
And
Enjoy
she
the
breaks
summer.
her ass.
Yeah.
She, you know, even though she works, in the cafeteria, they break their asses in there. I mean, she comes home and she's tired because it's, you know, you're on your feet all those hours, and plus, you know, all those kids. You know, she takes care of all these kids. It's unbelievable. But I told her the summer's my turn. You know, I'm gonna work overtime. I'll make the money somewhere. You know, but you're very well educated. I'm telling you, Maddie, and I know you for a long time, but you are very well educated when it comes to this, and to that, and that's very important because of the way what's going on in this world. Because you know my cousin Rolly, I talk to him all the time, and he even tells me, he goes, you know, the businesses are so competitive now. You got guys cutting grass out of their trucks,
Oh, yeah.
no license,
Oh, yeah.
no nothing. You know what I mean? And Rolly does it the right way, like you do. He pays his license, he pays the insurance and everything else. But then you got these guys that are driving around in their pickup trucks with two machines cutting grass and
Yeah, we call them the Home Depot contractors. You ever go to Home Depot early in the morning?
no.
Oh my goodness, you got to see the contractors there.
Really?
And like you said before, none of the trucks are lettered or anything like that. Okay, I mean, I've gone to Home Depot in pinches to get materials and stuff, but I use all my local, you know, suppliers: Greenville Electric, Monarch Electric, N&S Electric Supply. I use all, you know, the local guys for my everyday stuff. But you know, you got a lot of guys today that you'll see them. I had a buddy of mine, one of my guys that are on the board with me. We just had a board meeting this past Wednesday. He was telling me that he was in a supply house and on a Saturday, and there was a guy in there buying an electric meter and buying other parts and asking the counterman that worked at the supply house, what else do I need?
Are you kidding me?
So my buddy was like cringing. He wanted to like tell them, don't sell this guy anything because who knows where he's going with this. And the poor homeowner that hired him to do that has no idea
Right.
what danger they're going to be put in if that electric service is not hooked up right. Same thing with pools, you know, grounding and bonding. If you don't ground your electric service properly, the problem that happened with you when you loosen that cable, coax wire,
Yeah.
okay, it could happen.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're required to do on electric services, we're supposed to install a water ground, okay, from the electrical panel to your water meter, where the conduit comes into the house, and also jump it out in case, you know, the meter has to be taken out. And then we also run a supplemental ground rod, which is an 8-foot copper rod that gets driven into the ground. Okay. That's to prevent a fire like what happened to you in case the neutral goes bad between the house and the pole. Now, in your situation, the reason why that happens is because the water ground was compromised and there was probably no driven ground rod. So houses that are 50, 60 years old didn't have ground rods. When I bought my house, it didn't have a ground rod. I installed one. Okay. What happens is if the neutral gets compromised between the house and the pole, it uses the water pipe system to go out to the street and back up the pole. You worked with Cablevision,
Yeah.
so on the utility pole, you always saw a black wire come down the side of the pole, and that was connected to a ground rod at the pole.
Right.
That's what it's for.
I tell you, I'm so happy he came in.
No, yeah.
Unbelievable.
We're definitely going to have it back by the
Yeah.
end of the summer, yeah.
So you have any shout outs to give before we close out?
I want to shout out to my brother-in-law, your good friend Eddie Booth. He's in
I love
Italy
him
right now.
Where is he?
He's in Italy. He didn't
Oh,
take
God.
me. I'm so upset. He's sending me pictures of prosciutto and mortadella and all these beautiful things. I'm like, stop torturing me.
You know why I love Eddie? You know why I love him so much? Not only because he's my brother, is that he always said to me, whatever you say you're going to do, you do it. That's what he always told me. And when I told him that I'm doing this, he said, "Phew, I knew it."
Yeah.
Eddie always had confidence in the people that he was around, and everything Eddie touches, just, he just, I can't explain my feelings about Eddie.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Eddie is, I mean, when I see him, we, it's like a big hug. It's just,
Yeah, well, you guys grew up together. You were brothers.
he's my brother.
Yeah, he didn't have any brothers.
I know, but he's my brother.
Yeah.
Him and Vinny
Yeah.
Maruca, believe it or not.
Yeah.
but
Oh, you guys had a great neighborhood up there.
great neighborhood.
Yeah.
Kathy and Diane and just, I mean, Donna. Just, Mr. Booth was even great. Mr. Booth used to take me fishing all the time. And you know what was great about Eddie? When Eddie started his painting business, I used to help him with his father. And it was like Abbott and Costello. They were cracking on each other, and it made the day go so so quick because it was they were hilarious. But Margie, Kathy's mom.
She was a saint. I love my mother-in-law.
Man, I just miss all of
Good
them.
woman.
But so go ahead. I'm sorry. When you talked about Eddie, that was it.
It was just shout out to Eddie and my family, my buddies at the National Electric League. I mentioned a few of them. Phil Zawardi, I know you're listening because you said it's gravy and not sauce, and I'll take that up with you at our next board meeting. I'm going to smack you in the back of the head with one of my sauce jars.
I love him.
Yeah, it's all good.
No, but I'm glad you came in.
I love my business. I love this industry. I love educating myself and talking to people about it. It's something that you definitely have to always be aware of. I don't want to scare people. I'm sure your electrical system in your house is safe, but if you have any questions or anything, call your electrician in there. Have him look at things, have him check out your service. One of the biggest problems with your electrical service is water getting in, because a lot of the older services, they get compromised, things deteriorate, the conduits, the wire, the fittings, so water gets in there. Water's our enemy. It starts to corrode the connections, and that's when you start to lose your neutral or lose a phase, and your lights will start flickering. So if you see any rusting or deterioration at your meter pin or at your panel, get it upgraded. You're going to spend a few $1,000s, but get it upgraded. Your family will be safe. And if you want to go the extra step, which I still don't know why, I'm probably going to put a proposition in, to the NFPA for one of the next code cycles. When we do a brand new house or we run a new circuit in your house, it has to be AFCI protected, arc fault protected, okay? But if I come in and I change your panel, I don't have to put AFCI breakers in.
Why is that?
Why? I don't know, because the code doesn't say it. So now, you know what? The AFCI breakers, they're about $80, $90 a piece. So now if I got to change 10 of them out, I just added $1,000 in cost to the job. So...
But it's safety.
I understand that, Ralph, but you got to understand, a service is already, a 200 amp service is already costing you between $4,000 and $5,000.
Correct.
Okay, today. So now I got to add another $1,000 on top of that. Some people have it, some people don't. Sometimes they do the service because they have to, because they're adding air conditioning or they're buying a electric vehicle, so they got to put a charging point in. Okay, so now they have to upgrade from 100 amp to a 200 amp, so they have to do it, not because they want to do it. Okay.
So what? They got to go from 110 to 220? Is that what?
No. Most houses have 220.
Right.
It's the amperage, so it goes from 100
amperage, okay.
100 amp to 200.
Right.
amp.
Okay.
Although there are some houses that I haven't done one in probably 15 years. There was a house up in Southridge that had a 30 amp 120 volt service coming into the house.
What?
It's old. It's probably about 60, 70 years old. But these are houses that have never been upgraded. The infrastructure. Your plumbing system, your electrical system, your HVAC system are three of the most important parts of your house. Not your nice roof, not your nice countertops, not the nice paint you have on your wall. That's what people care about because that's what everybody sees. But how about behind the walls? What did Chad explain? That he had something arcing behind the wall that if they didn't fix it, the house would have caught fire, right? So it's very important that the mechanical systems of your house, your plumbing, electric, and HVAC are up to date, they're working properly, and they're installed properly from the beginning. Now, listen, you buy an older home, you don't know what you're getting.
Right.
Okay, but if you do any work, upgrade it. Spend the money, and you'll be able to keep your family safe and sleep at night.
What do you think about that, huh, John?
Great. Nah, that's very good information, man.
Any more shout-outs? You don't want to
How
say hello?
how about the class of 1983?
Oh,
Ralph?
boy. Shh, don't do you.
Louis Damiano, Albert Gigliotti, Johnny
Yeah.
Paco, Tony Cavino,
Yeah.
all our boys, right?
Yeah, all our boys.
Yeah.
And I saw Albert the other day, and I felt bad for him because he has that
Yeah.
Bell palsy.
yeah.
But
he's getting better. He was.
I tell you, he hustles.
Yeah, he's a hard worker.
And I always bust his chops all the time. I said, Albert, I got a pension.
Well, he's got one for Farmers Bazaar.
Yeah.
He worked there for 100
Yeah,
years.
for like 30 years.
Yeah, right out of high school. Yeah.
Yeah, but I see him all the time. Louis listens to the show.
Does he?
Yeah,
Is he still in North Carolina?
He's all over the place. And there's so many people that, I see. And you know who I saw today? So I had to give blood today. I had doctor, of course my wife called the doctor because I got something going on.
Okay.
But anyway,
Listen to your wife.
she gets so pissed off at me. And I feel bad, man, because I don't mean to. That's the way I am. I'm stubborn. But anyway, Vinny Grazios was in there with his kid. Remember Vinny Grazios? He graduated with us.
Yeah.
I didn't even I recognized him.
He still looks the same. I ran into him
because I said to him, I said, "Where you?" He said he's living in Brookville now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran into him. He's a nice guy.
I gave my name to the lady in the front. And he turned around. He turned right
He heard
around.
your name.
And he heard my name. He goes, "Hey, remember me?" I said, "Of course I do, Vinny."
Yeah.
But I see. It's good to see people that you grew up with. I gotta say, Maddie, when he sees me at 7-Eleven, always says hello to me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he's leaving or coming in. He always says hello to me.
Yeah.
But Ralph, isn't that the polite thing to do?
Yes.
Why can't just people be nice to each other?
Listen,
This world would be such a much better place, a pleasant place, if you just smiled and said hello, good morning.
you know what I told all the people in the place where I had to give blood? I told everybody, have a great day.
Yeah.
I went to every nurse in there and I said, "Listen, thank you for have a great day."
Yeah.
And they said, "Okay, Ralph, take care," because they listen to the podcast too.
I always say that too. I say, have a nice day.
You have to. You know what? Listen, we don't know how much time we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, look at I saw Calvin Balsam's sister just passed away.
Oh,
She was a teacher in the middle school. I'm pretty sure Kathy knew who that was.
Probably.
Yeah, she was a teacher in the. She had she passed away from cancer. She was in her 50s, I think. That was Calvin Balsam's sister.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
yeah. So it's sad. It's just, you never know. So just like you said, it doesn't hurt to say have a great day.
Yeah.
Thank you. Open the door for somebody when they're coming in or going
I
out.
always do that, and that's one of my pet peeves. Like if somebody's walking into like 7-Eleven or wherever,
I open the door for
coffee,
them.
Yeah, and like they just walk in, and I'm like right behind them, like,
You know what?
I don't even get mad anymore. I just like
Yeah, but you know what
people have no
you know what I
class.
do sometimes too. If I see him, there's the guy who has the cart. I buy him a coffee.
Yeah.
He's down and out.
Yeah.
And you know what Lisa does? She goes home and makes him something to eat.
Yeah,
and,
buy him
and looks for
buy
him.
him a peanut butter and jelly.
I always
sandwich.
ask him if he wants. He goes, no, just get me a coffee, and I get him a coffee. What's the big freaking deal, bud? But I'm telling you, Maddie, you were great today.
I appreciate it. You know,
Yeah.
you guys are doing a great thing here too. By I mean, you guys have. I watched a couple of your podcasts. You know, just to get ready to see what I was up against, and I like. I saw the one with La Placita.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the one with the candidate for the senator.
Yeah.
I got to watch the Goomba one.
The
though.
Goomba's great.
I want to laugh.
You're gonna crack up.
Yeah.
But we try to, listen, we're not going after it. We want people to get educated and have a good time. I mean, we always bust chops with the sauce and everything. It's a good.
So where did you get this?
So they think it's
That's
AI.
AI.
But wait a minute.
In
That's
the
AI.
box.
No, this is real.
Bought the
So
ad,
Lisa and I went to ShopRite in Plainview.
Okay.
And Lisa goes, "Oh my God!" She looked up. She goes, "I'm gonna buy this because it said Italian gravy on it." Do you know we ate it and it was delicious?
Oh God, never eat. See now I'm cringing right now. Because
Why?
If my wife ever came home from the supermarket with sauce that she bought in a jar and put it in front of me, I would divorce her.
No, but so Lisa bought that. We bought it for a joke. But I said, "No, let's
but
not."
you ate it.
Yeah, I mean,
So you know what we will do? We'll go down to Panini Grill and buy a quart of their vodka sauce. You ever have it?
no.
It is delicious.
Is it really?
So Gabe and Connie run it over there.
Yeah.
So you could buy a quart,
Yeah.
right? They put it in a jar for you. Take it home. You boil a pound of pasta. You
Yeah.
put it on there. Penny alla vodka, delicious.
Yeah,
Delicious.
Lisa makes slamming penny al vodka.
Yeah. So
She
that's like the only sauce that I'll have, but
Yeah.
never in a jar.
But she makes the shrimp. No, Lisa makes. The other day we went to Restaurant Depot, and and we were gonna buy a mess of tomatoes, and she was gonna make her own. She makes her own sauce.
Yeah.
She learned from my mother. She jars it in those ball jars.
Yeah. So every year when growing up, you always saw the crates outside.
Yeah, the Marukas did that.
Yeah,
the
so
Marukas did it.
we grew up doing that. Okay, so there was 8 of us in my family, so we didn't have a lot of money. So when it came time to making the sauce, my dad would pile us up in his Chevy Caprice, and we go out to the farm out east, and you had to pick the tomatoes, because when you picked the tomatoes, it was $5 a bushel, right? Now, if you bought the bushel already picked, it was $10 a bushel. So I'm not paying that. Get your ass out there. So Sunday morning, me and my sisters, my parents, we go out there, we pick the tomatoes, whatever. Then he had a little more money. Then he'd go out there, buy it. Then Izzo, remember Izzo at the
Yeah.
bottom of
Yep.
4th Street? He used to sell it. Then we used to buy it from them. So we made sauce growing up all the time. My father made prosciutto. He made gabagool, sausage, superside. You name it, we
Yeah.
made it all in-house, right? So parents pass away, family traditions kind of die, right? My son Matteo, my second guy, comes to me last year. Pops, I got an idea. I'm like, oh boy. Whenever Teo tells me he has an idea, I either have to build something or it's going to cost me money, right? So I was like, what is it? He goes, I want to make sauce. I'm like, okay. He's like, you know how to do it? I said, yeah, I still remember how to do it, but not every little thing. I said, I got to call your aunts, right? My sisters. I was like, where you planning on doing this? At your place? He's like, no, at your house. I'm like, why at my house, right? So I called my sisters, and before I even finished the sentence, we want to do it too. We want to do it too. So now it went from just us making it to we had 16 people at my house, okay? My parents still had everything in their basement, so we brought all that over. My brother-in-law, Mike Cavallone, he got another sauce machine, the burners from his mother, a couple of pots there. We did, I think it was like 11 to 12 bushels of sauce. We started at like 7 in the morning. We were done by 12 o'clock.
Wow.
It was done. And
How many jars you made?
I don't remember. I think we averaged about like 12 to 14 jars a bushel, so
What
maybe 100
memories,
something.
right? Great memories?
Yeah. Oh my God. So the best part of it was my grandson was just born, so my son Frank and his wife Jonna brought my grandson Marcello over towards the end, and we cleaned up everything. The girls went inside, took the sauce, made pasta and everything, made a nice salad, and I had a table from here to the end of the wall there. Everybody sat down at once with a glass of
That's
wine,
awesome.
sauce. That meant everything to me.
Yeah.
So now we're doing it every year.
See?
So now we bought a new sauce machine because the one my mother's had was like,
Yeah.
you know, we didn't know if it was going to make it. So we bought that. We got a couple of burners. We bought a couple more pots. This year we're probably going to make about 20 cases.
Wow.
So
See what I mean when you bring that back?
But that family tradition, it's awesome. And it was because of my son. I would have never done
Like
it.
I miss, you know, when my father passed away, a lot of things just left.
Yeah.
You know, like Easter, Lisa used to make a spread, and my father went crazy over it. Thanksgiving and, you know, Christmas. But now it's, you know, my mother's 94, but I'm telling you, she still has it. She don't mess around with her. But it's sad, all those traditions, you know, but I try to do the things, you know, I try to keep a family close. Like if my son wants to do, like I got my son into the baseball cards. He comes to the baseball card shows with me. I'm happy
awesome.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do sport things together. You know, my cousin from Florida comes up all the time. I love him to death. He's like my brother. You know, but you try to just keep that family thing going. From generation to generation.
You know, and unfortunately, as you know, the older generations pass off, the traditions get lost.
Yes.
That's one of them. We definitely keep the holiday traditions.
Yeah.
You know, we host. Now that you know our kids are all getting married and now we're having grandchildren, we always try to host Christmas Eve. Thanksgiving and Easter. I love having people at my house. My kids-in-laws now, we invite them over to be part of the family because they are our family.
Yeah. Well, it's I don't like to go anywhere on the holidays anymore. I like to just stay home with Lisa and the two kids. But my mother always says come over, but. I'm a home guy now. I like to stay home and just.
And she can't come over to you.
Who?
Your mom.
She comes. She still drives.
Oh,
she
come on.
She came over the other day.
Wow.
My son's birthday was the 14th. She came. She drove over. Drove over.
God bless.
Yeah, and that's when she sat in the lazy boy chair. She goes, "Boy, this chair's comfortable." She didn't want to go, but no, my mother she loves her grandkids, and but. Listen, as time goes by, you just want to keep stuff, in that circle, just like you said, in that circle. But I'm telling you, Matty, I'm proud of you because
thank you.
You're very knowledgeable, and like I said, should I say Kathy's lucky to have him, or what should I say, John?
They're both lucky to have each other.
I remind her all the time. I'm like, how lucky you are to be married to me. And she laughs.
I say that to Lisa, and she's like, "Yeah, okay." I say, Lisa, you're married to a celebrity. Yeah, okay. Just like I was telling John, we went to the Yankee game, and I went to get popcorn. They were selling this popcorn in the it looks like a bucket. It looks like Yankee Stadium. And I bring it home, and Lisa's like, "Are you kidding me? Where the hell am I going to put this?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the lady that was there, she goes, I was wearing the Jane Ralph shirt, and she goes, "Are you a celebrity?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh my God!" She took a picture with me. It was great, John.
She didn't know who you were though. She saw the shirt.
She saw the shirt. She saw me on it. She goes, "Oh my God! I never served a celebrity. I'm not really a celebrity. You know what I do? I work for the city of Glen Cove."
That's all right. You're a celebrity in your
That's
own
right. But go ahead.
Everybody loves you, Ralph. Glen Cove,
Thank you.
is lucky to have you working for the city and keeping things beautiful.
Well,
I always honk at you
all the time
when you're on the side of the road.
Well, it's funny. It's like Lisa laughs and my son laughs now because when we had our dog, I would walk the dog and there was a line of cars waiting to talk to me. It's what I mean. But everywhere I go, I really listen. Glen Cove is a small community, and they got really good people here. I don't know a lot of the new ones, but a lot of the new ones I'm starting to, talk to them because there are a lot of people that just moved into Glen Cove, and listen, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
You see me all over the place, but any last words?
No. Thank you, Ralph and John, for having me on tonight. And, if I help, your listeners out there, educated them on pool safety, fire, smoke alarms, CO detectors, God bless everybody and stay safe.
And this this show will be repeated.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be repeated right after.
Right after.
All right.
Go ahead, John. Take us away.
Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's already, we almost did a 3-hour show today.
It was worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it, very much worth it. We got a lot of knowledge, like Maddie said, Ralph said, and I say. We got a couple of people that got educated tonight, which means a lot to us. That's why we do this show, to educate everybody on things that they might think they know, but they don't know. That's why we get the experts in here and tell it how it is. And sometimes people don't want to hear it. Some people do want to hear it. And like Maddie said, and we're going to say now, if you do get work done in your house, please make sure it's a master licensed electrician that knows what they're doing. It could cost you your house. It could cost you your family. And don't penny pinch anything because it's not
worth your
it.
life.
It's not worth your life or your family's life, But on that note, we are out of here, guys. We love you. Next week, we'll be back at 6 to 8. We got another special guest. And
you get to see me again.
We get to see this guy with the wrong thing in front of him that says gravy.
Yeah, okay.
John, when he's not here, just throw that thing in the garbage. How do you allow that in your house?
No, that's a monument thing. No.
I love it.
But like I said, guys, whoever learned tonight, they learned, and we're happy about that because that's what we do this show for. I'm trying to find the mouse here to close down the show.
Oh, you can't close it down? Well, have a great weekend, everybody. And happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day,
Happy
everybody.
Father's Day, everybody.
Oh, keep talking.
Oh.
All right. We're still on the air.
John's looking for the mouse.
He ran away.
Ran away.
That's weird, this thing.
Now I'm going to go home and have some sauce.
There you go, Ralph. See, listen, just keep saying that because you don't want your kids growing up in a world that is gravy. It's sauce. Come on. Don't do that to your kids.
No, listen, my kids have their own minds, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't tell them. You try to teach them right or wrong, but.
Well, listen, what we did is like our parents did to us, we guided our kids. We brought them to a certain level.
Yep.
They become, men and women, and they start making up their own minds.
That's it.
But it's our job as parents to guide them.
That's right.
To steer them in the right direction. Keep them away from trouble and riffraff. And if you do that, you're a good parent.
Have a nice weekend.
All right, guys. On that note, we out of here. We love you.
Oh, Malone.